we go. All right, aloha. Welcome to those of you tuning into this on YouTube in the future. Whenever you get a chance, thanks so much for being back. Maybe it's your first time, maybe you're here plenty of times, but either way, thank you so much for joining. My name is Wolf, aka Brendan, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, and we are just getting things ready to go, and I'm going to start the live broadcast over on Instagram. So starting on Instagram now. And we are live once again on Instagram. Aloha, Instagram family. If you're watching this in the future, go ahead and click my bio link to be able to join into the most recent broadcast for another episode of live tarot readings with Wolf. And we're just getting started here. And if you are tuned in, please feel free to click the link in my bio. Yo, spiritual teachers of our time, shout out. Yo, what's up, dude? Again, we're gonna get right into the readings as soon as we're ready, so I just have to click a couple more buttons. But again, if you click the link in my bio, you can join in over on YouTube. And yeah, we're gonna be once again like seeing what downloads are coming through from the universe. So aloha Chloe, aloha Kiss KG. Thank you again everyone for joining in. We're gonna begin the official first reading in the next couple moments. I'm gonna share this broadcast into the 1111 movement group, and once we do that, there's a decent amount of people that get a chance to tune in from there, and then we will get right into our first reading. So if it's your first time here, welcome, and please feel free to just leave your comments down below, drop those 1111s, make sure that you can to confirm that you can hear me okay. And again, for those of you tuning in on Instagram, click the link in my bio to be able to jump over to YouTube. 1 second. I can hear my dog barking. I just want to make sure they're okay. We're back. We haven't started yet. Alan, what are you barking at? Okay. Yeah, he's cool. He's just like barking at, I don't know, delivery trucks maybe? I don't know what he's barking at. I'll have to ask him. Okay. Hold on. I'm just trying to determine what type of bark that is and whether or not I need to get up and do something about it. So I think he's okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to start the broadcast over in the 1111 movement group as a watch party. So once we do that, then we'll get ready to get right into our first reading. So aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. It's the middle of the day here, but we're going to be doing some tarot readings over the next couple minutes, aka couple hours. So here we go, starting the broadcast in the 1111 movement group, and away we go. All right. Aloha, and welcome to those of you joining into this broadcast from whatever channel you may be tuning in from, be it my personal Facebook page, be it the 1111 movement group, or be it on the YouTube, Instagram, wherever you get the chance to be able to tune into this. My name is Brendan, and you're tuned in for some live tarot readings with Wolf. Wolf is also my name. And we're going to be getting right into this. So if you are here and you would like to be able to be eligible for the first reading, very simply put, share this broadcast with your friends, and then from there stand by for the initial instructions. If it's your first time here, drop a 222 in the chat and we'll be giving you a special bonus shout out, so let other people know that you are tuned into this. And so if this is, I'm going to give a quick introduction in terms of how we do the readings here, because obviously we have people who are joining in for the first time. So when we do the readings here, first of all, I'll just explain is that we don't necessarily do these as like psychic readings or fortune tellings. What we do is we set forth the intention of show us what we need to see. And then when we have this intention, it gives us a chance to be able to receive inspiration, clarity, and insight from the universe using the cards as a conduit, and us together as a community being able to bring forth that message to present it to the team, to the collective, and to you, the individual. So aloha to everybody tuning into this. This is how we do the readings here. What we're going to do, we're going to choose one person from the chat. We've been doing these readings for quite a while, so we got like a good like flow of what we're doing. So again, just stand by as I explain it to you for those who are brand new. And I can see lots of 222s in the chat. Again, if it is your first time here, drop a 222 in the chat. And again, thank you so much for joining. So here's just a basic overview. We're going to choose a person to do a reading from the chat. And the way how we're going to do this is by you, step one, share this broadcast with your friends. And then step two, I'm going to give you a number, and then the 8th person who enters the number into the chat will be the first person that we do our first reading for. And then from there, listen carefully, the next readings that we do beyond that will be for people as they sign up to support on Patreon for the work that I do for the community as a conscious media creator. And so Patreon, for those of you who aren't entirely familiar, is a website where people can support artists they like with monthly micro contributions and to be able to get awesome rewards and perks in return. So with our Patreon, when you can sign up, that's at the $11 or the $5 or like the $50, whatever option you choose. Some of the rewards you can also get the beautiful Lumerian Light Guardian crystals that I hand make within the project. And some people are just like, yo, I want those. So go ahead and check out the Patreon link. I'll post that in the chat in the next couple moments. And you can also be involved as a leading member within the Paradigm Shift Central community. So we're not literally just doing tarot here. We're also doing team building. And again, for those of you who may be entirely new to meeting me, my name is Brendan. Like I said, I'm a full-time conscious media creator. I'm the director for a project known as Paradigm Shift Central. And what we're doing is we've been building this team of conscious media creators. So if you're looking for other people who are working on like developing their abilities to express themselves, to develop their leadership, and to be in that network, definitely be sure to check out the Patreon. And again, so I'll explain more about that as we go. But again, we'll get right into our first reading. And again, the next reading that we do will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. So if you want to jump the line for a reading, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. And again, that only takes about 3 minutes to sign up. And so just for clarity, the intention with this broadcast, provide awesome value for you, the community, through doing tarot readings, invite people to support on Patreon for the ongoing work that I do for the community and that we are doing as a team, and to just be able to build this relationship and to be able to meet new people and invite them to be a part of what we are creating. So be sure to follow me on Instagram, follow my personal Facebook profile, and you can also jump right over to the YouTube link. I'll post a YouTube link into the Facebook, and we're gonna get right into our first reading. Sometimes the Facebook feed gets a little glitchy, so if it ever gets glitchy, jump over to youtube.com/skullbabylon if you're watching on Facebook. All right, so here is the instructions for our first reading as we get right into it, and we'll keep an eye on the Patreon signups. So again, if you would like to be able to jump the line and get a reading for yourself without having to have it picked from the chat, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon as we're doing this. And if it's your first time, when you check out my Patreon, you can learn more about what I do. So again, for those of you on Instagram, go ahead and click my bio link to be able to tune in on YouTube, and let's get right into our first reading. You guys ready? Drop some 1111s in the chat if you're ready for this first reading. And again, the way how we do this, it's not even like, it will be for a person, but it will also be on behalf of the collective. So it's a really, really cool way. So even if you're not chosen, stick around because there is a message here for you, a message of inspiration and clarity. All right, here are your instructions. Share this broadcast if you haven't already yet. If you're in the 1111 movement group, go to my profile and share it from my personal wall. That way so you can share it, because I know you can't share within the group. Step 2, I'm going to give you a number. Be the 8th person to enter this number into the chat, and that will be the first person that we choose. Don't enter in the number more than once, and don't enter it in right away. Allow yourself to kind of take a breath first, listen to your intuition. So with that said, we're going to give you the number, and then we're going to get right into our first reading, and I'm going to determine who the 8th person is based on multiple chats. There's multiple chats here, so keep in mind, it's not just the one chat that you're in. We're in YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and 2 Facebooks right now. So, okay, here we go. The number that you are going to enter is the number 333. And the 8th person who enters that number into the chat will be the first person that we do the reading for. And then again, from there, the next readings will be for people as they sign up for the Patreon. And our objective for this broadcast is to get 3 Patreon signups during this broadcast. And you can see right now, we're currently at 149 towards our goal of 200. And again, that's to support the work that I do for the community, and also to support you because you get access to a lot of cool stuff as well. All right. Okay. So here come the numbers now. Okay, cool. So the first person that we are doing the reading for today is going to be for Laura Stegmeyer. So Laura, thank you so much, and thank you everyone. Again, even if you didn't get chosen, stick around. I want you to be here to be able to be a part of the practice that we are doing here as a community, and also just to be able to let everyone know, again, if this is your first time meeting me, we do a lot of really cool broadcasts for the community. In particular, I'm inviting everyone here to be a part of the next live global guided meditation we are doing this Thursday at 8 p.m. EST. So January 9th, 8 p.m. EST. Going to be like bringing a lot of intention into this and being able to send out a lot of like healing energy to the world. And we've done a lot of these guided global meditations. So I would love to be able to see you there if you're able to tune in live. So again, I posted a link for that into the YouTube chat and also into the Facebook chat. So be sure to connect to my YouTube when you get a chance. And let's get right into our first reading. And again, the next reading that we will do will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. And I'm just going to post a link there. So I can see people, they're just like, hey, I would love a reading. Again, the first reading we do, like it's all a collective reading, but to be able to jump the line, sign up for the Patreon. It only takes 3 minutes. And I'll just explain real quick. When you sign up for the Patreon, you also get access to me as your private conscious media creation coach, which is like a value of over $250 a month. So when you sign up to the Patreon, you're investing in me, you're investing in the team, and you're investing in yourself. And I can help you build your own Patreon, help you like grow as an entrepreneur, help you be a part, help you reach a larger community. And you also get the opportunity to be involved as a leading member in the Paradigm Shift Central community. So again, that's the community where we're building a global team of conscious creators and leaders. So let's get right into this first reading. I'll explain more about the Patreon as we go, but for now, let's just start off with the first reading. And again, Laura Stegmeyer, go ahead and drop a comment in the chat. Just let me know that you're ready, and we will do this first reading for you. And thank you again, everyone. Again, like, don't leave just yet. Like, if you're here, this message is still for you. And when you sign up for the Patreon, you also have the option. So the next person who we do the reading for will be the first person who signs up for the Patreon. You also have the option to choose from the Ananda Tarot deck or the Lightworker Oracle deck, just so you know. So we're going to start off with the Ananda Tarot deck for Laura. So Laura, go ahead and leave a comment in the chat to let me know that you're ready. And as they are ready, we will begin the first reading. And again, I'm really looking forward to being able to bring everybody together for the guided meditation tomorrow. So even if you're just tuned into this, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube so that you can be a part of the meditation. All right, let's do this, team. Okay, so Laura, and for everybody here, again, everybody here, this is a practice for everybody. I want you to be able to experience this. So for everybody here, I want you to just be able to drop into this space of gratitude. So Laura, I want you to be able to just close your eyes if you wish, put your hand on your heart if you wish. And for everybody here, gently just begin connecting with your breath. Bring yourself into the awareness of the present moment. Bring yourself into the sensation of gratitude. Feeling the gratitude of people coming together who are passionate about being able to help change the world. Shifters, light workers, light guardians. People who are changing the world through acts of creativity and compassion, who are helping assist and accelerate the shift in consciousness. It's a very, very powerful thing for you to be here right now. Laura, as you're in this space of gratitude, I want you to set forth the intention of show me what I need to see, or show us what we need to see. I want you to speak it with your heart, speak it with your mind, speak it with your voice. And take a few more breaths here. And again, I want everybody here, go ahead. You can put forth that intention too. Again, we kind of work out, this is like a team reading that we do. And Laura, I want you to take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, type now into the chat and we will pull the card for you. And I'm just going to charge the deck for a bit. And so, as we drop into this space once again, my friends, let us continue to remind ourselves that this story never truly ends. For as we continue to awaken within this dream, we continue to remember more of what we have always been, to unlock the magic within our hearts, to be able to remind others that it is in this moment that we shall start. And so as Laura types now into the chat, we shall split the deck and see what message the universe has. All right. So Here's the first card that we are doing for today. And again, for everybody here, again, if you're just like, hey, like I'd love to be able to like have a reading, this is a reading for you, because again, we're doing this for Laura, but again, this is like a collective team reading. So if this is your first time here, get comfortable, feel it out. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to have you here. And again, welcome. My name is Brendan. Happy to have you here. All right. So the first card that we've chosen for the first reading for today is dun, 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 dun. This is always the exciting part. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune. So take a look at that. I'm going to open up the book here for those of you on Instagram. Again, if you're on Instagram, go ahead and click the link in my bio to be able to tune in. And we're going to open up. And again, so the way how we do this here, I'm going to read for you the description in the book, and then from there we dive a little bit deeper based on like my own interpretation and intuitive kind of like what I bring through. And again, we've been doing these broadcasts for like a while, and like the feedback is like phenomenal, and people are always just like, yo, this is super awesome, this is super inspiring. And again, that's our intention, is to like bring forth messages of inspiration. So for those of you tuned in on Instagram, again, click the link in my bio to be able to tune in on YouTube. That way so you can see like the primary camera. And again, as we're getting into this reading, we'll keep an eye open for our first Patreon sign up. Our objective is to get at least 3 Patreon signups over the next, I'll be on air for at least 2.5 hours. And yeah, again, that's a monthly micro contribution of $5, $11, however much you want to choose. And there's awesome rewards that come with that. And you support what we are creating together as a community. So thank you again for adding your support. Let's get right into this reading. And again, I'll post the link for the Patreon in the chat. That way, so as you're doing this, just go ahead and check out my Patreon. That way, so you can just kind of like see who I am and what I do, because I think you'll dig it. All right. Okay. So looking at the card here, I'm just going to explain to you what we are looking at here. And again, for those of you on Instagram, click my bio link so you can tune in. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune. What do we have here? We have this beautiful image of a mandala, and the mandala is surrounded by the different astrological zodiac signs, and just like the colors are just like beautiful, kind of got like this blossoming, again, flower mandala pattern in the middle, these like dark blues around the edge, obviously in the shape of a wheel. And other than that, there's really not too much to say visually about this card. It's pretty straightforward in itself. And so we'll dive into the reading of it. And then again, from there, I'll explain more about as we go. If you're still tuned in right now, just go ahead and just drop an 1111 in the chat. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. If the video begins skipping on YouTube, on Facebook, I mean, jump over to my YouTube channel, which is at Skull Babylon. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes, I don't know, the Facebook feed gets a little glitchy, and I'm not exactly sure why, but we'll make do the best we can. So again, if you're here, if you're present, drop an 1111 in the chat to make sure that I know you're here. And we got about like at least like over like 60 people tuned in right now. So let's cultivate this inspiration together. And again, your feedback in all forms is super appreciated. So thank you again, Patreon supporters, everyone, for your support and helping make this possible for the team. All right, let's do this and read a little bit more about what this message has, what this card has for us. So Laura, for everybody here, just allow yourself to kind of meditate. We're just going to drop into this space and just be open to the message that is coming through right now. Thank you again, everyone. You're awesome. And yeah, let's do it. Let's get those Patreon signups as we're doing this first reading. Number 10, The Wheel of Fortune. The image. The shadowy shapes of the world form themselves into a zodiac circle around a glowing mandala, which appears as the symbol of cosmic order. Meaning, if we have previously created the conditions for making the right decisions for our life, we will now come into contact with the world. The observation of our own life and the evaluation of past experiences based on universal law lend us a deeper understanding of connections of a higher order. This in turn enables the individual to put together the various aspects of existence as a whole, and to see the previously fragmented picture of reality in relativity. The Wheel of Fortune shows us that certain laws of nature wind throughout the various levels of the entire creation like a thread. I'm going to reread that. The Wheel of Fortune shows us that certain laws of nature wind throughout the various levels of the entire creation like a thread. In the Vedas, the spiritual scriptures of old India, Dharma is described as the original law of nature, which builds the foundation for cosmic events and contains all existence. Within the world of duality, happiness and comfort are brought forth with the positive powers of as when the positive powers of life increase. I'm going to reread that. Within the world of duality, happiness and comfort are brought forth when the positive powers of life increase. If negative tendencies take the upper hand, pain and suffering are a result instead. As a solid part of cosmic reality, this doesn't affect just the individual, but the individual also affects the cosmos. However, humans are so highly developed that they enjoy freedom of choice, depending on their level of consciousness. Due to deeper knowledge, man is able to create conditions in which he can consciously influence his own destiny and therefore the cosmos. An old saying says we create our own luck. Superficially, the term luck may have its own meaning for each person and may be connected to some personal event. If we replace the word luck with the word fulfillment, then it makes sense that this in connection with the fulfillment of our life plan. The Wheel of Fortune is about letting go of short-sightedness and thinking in the bigger picture, as well as recognizing and following our calling. Astrological significance: Uranus, Saturn, Capricorn. Keywords: chronological course of events, law of karma, grasping higher connections, creation, understanding cosmic order, soul growth, taking destiny into our own hands, making decisions, dharma, astrology. Traditional meaning: luck, destiny, the wheel of time, laws of nature, spiritual sciences, maturation, expanding our horizon, life experiences, elementary foundation, following our calling. Okay, so this is a really, really cool card to be able to receive. And I think with this card, it's important to just be able to hit upon even like the definition of the term Dharma. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of people have probably heard before, but may have different interpretations of it. And so relative to this card is, as it says, really about encouraging us, reminding us of the importance of stepping into our destiny through the choice of free will, through the choice of stepping into it with intention. And so dharma, relative to karma, can be thought of very simply in the sense of dharma is the path, and karma is the universal energy that will help bring us back to the path being our destiny, the path being something that we agreed to before we even came into this incarnation, the path very simply being something about stepping into our best self and serving others along the way. And so karma, again, is kind of like that energy where it's like if you find yourself kind of stepping off the path and you're kind of wandering, karma will kind of reveal itself through often circumstances of luck and synchronicity to kind of bring us back into that alignment of reminding ourselves of why we are here. And so again, with this card is really encouraging us to utilize our free will to be able to take those next steps, knowing that we are on the path of our destiny to begin with. We kind of fall into this place sometimes of uncertainty, of this idea of kind of perceiving reality as if it's like this book that's being written as we're living it. But what if it's a little bit different from that? What if the book is already there and it's just a matter of us of kind of aligning with that story, of turning that next page, of being able to write that next chapter? So it's this matter of meeting the universe halfway. And so even in the concept of free will, it's very interesting, and I'll just explain this real quick. And again, let me know if this resonates with you. For people in the Facebook chat, drop another 1111 just to confirm that the video is okay, because I think it's like skipping and stuff like that, and I don't know why. But if it's glitching out, be sure to jump over to the YouTube, which is youtube.com/SkullBabylon. You can see that at the top. And I apologize if there is any glitch. But anyways, focusing on this, Laura, for anybody else here, when it comes to free will, there's a very, very powerful and interesting idea that free will is something that like exists within the consciousness of man, of women, of people, of like Homo sapiens. But it is there so that conscious evolution is something that must happen with a choice, with an intention, so that doesn't accidentally happen. Basically, this kind of means is that throughout the different kingdoms, be it mineral, be it mineral, plant, animal, and then man. In the previous kingdoms, it's kind of like free will is kind of like not necessarily something that is required, meaning if a plant just keeps existing, eventually it will evolve into a next stage. Again, this is more kind of like a metaphor, but in order for humans to evolve from where we are now as Homo sapiens into what can be thought of as Homo luminous, which is kind of like the embodiment of the 5D consciousness in the 3D form, it requires the choice of free will so that we don't, quote unquote, accidentally evolve into that next stage. It literally becomes something where we create our own luck, we create our own fortune, but it is something that is crafted. It is something that must be formulated. It is something that we must become aware of by becoming aware of the fact that it won't just happen on its own. So it's really this idea, I think, with this card, it's inviting us to find that balance of being able to, quote unquote, go with the flow, but to not forget to paddle when you need to, you know, because if you're just like, oh, the universe is just going to take care of me and I'm just going to, you know, just like whatever happens, happens. That's great. That can work based on certain circumstances, but don't be surprised if there's like a rock in your path and you need to paddle around it. You need to use your free will to be able to make those adjustments. You are the creation of the universe, coming from the present moment as much as the creation from the universe is coming from the future. And then together it helps you weave through your destiny with as much grace as possible. And so with this card, I think it's important to be able to remind ourselves of the higher connections between ourself and our future self to the realities that already exist, and to be able to really kind of like observe it as a matter of being able to align ourselves with a frequency that matches the future that we are seeking, that matches the future that we desire. And this is like, you know, quick, simple law of attraction things that a lot of people are familiar with, but basically that idea of, if you want to like feel, you know, just for example, it's like, say what it's like, I want to be able to manifest abundance or something like that, whatever that may be. Or it's like, I want to be able to be in like a meaningful relationship or something like that. Instead of feeling that you need that thing in order to feel what you want to feel because of the results of those things, allow yourself to begin feeling that feeling now, with the understanding that you feeling that now is actually you creating a thread between yourself and that future. And then you kind of like grab that thread and you're kind of like letting it guide you into the present moment. So it's kind of like this reverse time theory where the future already exists, and it's just a matter of us being able to show up as best as we can right now, knowing that it exists, to be able to move forward with as much bravery and with as much determination and with as much flexibility as possible. Again, this card is about being able to like make decisions in a confident way, and to be able to know that like even through the process of making decisions, whatever choice you make will be meaningful. And I think sometimes we paralyze ourselves because it's like, oh, what if this is the wrong choice? What if there isn't, quote unquote, a wrong choice? What if every choice that you make is meaningful, and then it's up to you to be able to make sure that you're showing up and being present to extract the meaning from whatever choice that you made? So again, kind of like moving into just like wrapping up this card in the next couple moments, for you, Laura, and for anybody else here, I invite you to really kind of begin kind of really just knowing that your dharma exists, knowing that there is a path for you, dropping into that space of trust, and knowing that that path is something that is already laid out before you. Give yourself that gift of courage and confidence in making those next steps, and yet to be able to know that it is up to you to make those next steps, that no one else can make them for you. It is up to you to be able to make the decisions that are required in that moment, and it is through the process of observation and choice that allows you to grow. And the big thing in this is that I think when it comes to evolving our spirit, evolving our consciousness, is that our goal is to show up as a student, and our goal as a student is to be able to pay attention, to take notes, to pass the tests. And as we show up as a good student, that allows us to be able to bring the Dharma into this reality, to like manifest our future, to like bring it forth into this moment sooner rather than later. So again, it's kind of like this idea, like your dharma is waiting there, but it's like, it's your fortune. It's there for you to claim it, but it will only arrive when you are ready. So instead of just waiting on it, understand that it's waiting on you. And so how do you manifest your dharma quicker? By doing the inner work, by releasing judgments, by being able to challenge yourself, by going outside of your comfort zone, by surrounding yourself with community and like-hearted and like-minded people that are going to support you on your vision. And so as you kind of get into this mindset of non-linear time theory where the future already exists and you're kind of like bringing yourself into alignment with it, let it be this invitation to be able to say, like, through my free will, my fortune is already mine. My fortune already exists, and you already have your fortune right here in the present moment, simply just by just connecting with your breath. Like, state the obvious, like, what you already have right now is already a blessing, is already incredibly fortunate. So appreciate the gifts that are already in your lap as it is right now, while making sure that you're like laying down the foundations, doing the work, and getting ready to take those next steps with as much bravery, as much courage as possible, knowing and trusting that the future is already there and that the path is already laid out before you, but it's up to you to be able to see the path and to do your best to be able to keep on it. And to know that, like, again, like, if there are times when you kind of like start wandering off the path, karma will kind of do its magic and push you back into it. So again, this is really about being able to understand the cosmic order, being able to understand how the universe has your back and how it's actually here to be able to serve you. So again, traditional meaning, luck, destiny, wheel of time, laws of nature, spiritual sciences, maturation, maturing the soul, expanding our horizons, life experiences, elementary foundation, following our calling. So Laura, for everybody else here, let this be an invitation for you to take time to reflect. What is your calling? What makes your heart sing? What is the service that you want to be able to provide? You have value. Every single one of us has value, and the path for you to share that value already exists. Know that and be able to step forward with as much confidence as possible, yet don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail forward. Learn as you grow. The only thing that would be considered like quote unquote delaying your fortune would be to do nothing at all, to just wait for it to come you. Like, again, no, this is about meeting the universe halfway, the creation from the future, the creation from the present, and then again from there being able to like bring forth the fortune sooner rather than later, to be able to accelerate the rate at which you manifest your destiny, so that in turn you can continue to show up and assist others as well. So Wheel of Fortune, again, I think that's a very cool card to be able to receive right now. Really about just being able to take responsibility for us manifesting our destiny, not just waiting for the universe to bring it to us, but being able to actively co-create alongside with it, with this foresight of knowing that the future is already there for us to be able to receive it. So expanding our horizons and maturing the soul. So Wheel of Fortune, very, very cool card. Great card to be able to start off our first reading with. If this resonated with you in the chat, drop some 1111s and go ahead and leave your comments. Laura, let us know in the chat how this resonated with you. And again, just being able to share this card as additional inspiration to be able to deliver something to your soul, to your mind, that's just like, oh, okay, sweet. Like, yeah, like it's useful to hear that, like, okay, there is hope, like, because again, like, what you're creating, it's there, it's like in the future already, and then it's just a matter of you kind of like aligning with that process and taking those next steps with as much confidence as possible. Awesome. Brittany, I can see your comment, says this message was exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you so much for shining your light. Oh, Brittany, thank you so much. That means a lot. D Johnson dropping the 1111s. Yo, Tree Hugging Empress Tarot, thanks for joining in again. Kimberly dropping the 1111s as well. Just looking up for other comments. Hey, Brit, thanks for joining back in again. They were one other person that we did a reading for yesterday. Rose, thank you, Rose, for being here, one of our leading members as well. We got several of our leading members in the chat, as always. holding space. Thank you again, everyone. All right, so again, I'll read any comments on screen based on any feedback that people have. Laura, if you're typing a comment, I'll read that in the next little moments. And all right, so with that said, Laura, and for anybody else here, if you would like to be able to get the image of this card, I can send you a picture of it. Just feel free to send me a direct message through Facebook, and you can reach me that way. Laura says 1111, awesome, thank you so much. I'm starting on some new paths this year, and this is more inspiration that I am doing the right thing. Love the analogy of the pulling thread and pulling it to you. Awesome. Thank you, Laura. That's exactly, I love being able to hear that type of feedback. So thank you, Laura, for sharing and again, for helping us bring that card forward for the entire community. So Laura, the first person that we did a reading for. D. Johnson says, unconditional love, brother, all according to the divine fan, no fear, all faith. I like it. Beautiful. Divine light. Awesome. Thanks, D. Johnson. All right, so team, with that said, let's get right into our next reading by inviting our first person to be able to sign up for the Patreon. Again, when we do these readings, we have a couple objectives. Our objectives are to be able to provide awesome value for the community by doing these readings and to be able to invite people to support on Patreon. So Patreon is a platform where people can support artists. You can create your own Patreon. I can help you with that. And my Patreon is to be able to help support the work that I do for the conscious community in a variety of conscious media that I create. I've been creating conscious media for over 10 years. I do a bunch of like awesome videos, full-length movies, funny videos, free hugs, Spider-Man free hugs videos, Mystic Spider-Man, guided global meditations. A reminder, our next one is the full moon this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join in for that. And so again, when you sign up onto the Patreon, you can also get a beautiful Lumerian Light Guardian crystal when you sign up at the $11 level. And you can also have access to me as your private conscious media creation coach, and you can join and be involved with the team that we are creating within the Paradigm Shift Central community of fellow conscious creators and leaders. So the Paradigm Shift Central community, it's a big community, but then within that community, we have our leading members. And those are people who are signed up for the Patreon and who are working alongside myself and other creators, so that if you want some additional support on your projects, on your entrepreneur stuff, I am here to be able to assist you with that. That is something that I am incredibly passionate about. And again, by being able to invest in the Patreon, you're also investing in yourself and the entire community and what we're creating. So if this is your first time here, drop a 222 in the chat, because again, I just want to be able to say hello to you. And aloha to our other Patreon supporters in the chat. We got Kaylee. Hey Kaylee, good morning, afternoon. And we got Mark here, and anybody else here, Patreon supporters. If you're a Patreon supporter, drop a 777 in the chat. Just in case you can let other people know too. And again, if you're already signed up for the Patreon, feel free to like encourage other people to do it. Like, you guys can help champion this as well. It's super appreciated. So again, patreon.com/Brendan Culleton. Sign up at a level that works for you. And once we have that first sign up, then we will do the next reading, which will be for that person, but also for the collective. So if that makes sense, let me know. Just be like, yes, that makes sense. We understand. And again, it only takes about 3 minutes to sign up for the Patreon. And our objective is to get about 3 Patreon signups during this broadcast. And my objective for this month, my job for this month, is to be able to get over 200 Patreon supporters, again, which helps support the ongoing work that we have ahead for the community. So looking forward to being able to do the next reading as soon as we have that first person signed up for the Patreon. So go ahead, check out the Patreon. If you're on YouTube, you can click the button in the top corner. And again, if you're tuned in on Instagram, you can click my bio link, and that will connect you to the YouTube. And then from the YouTube, you can click the link in the info. So yes, I am looking at the YouTube chat. So I'm looking at all the chats, believe me. Like here in Master Control, I'm looking at, I see everything. So if you had a particular question, please feel free to let me know. Rowana, can you see my comments? They're asking. Rowana, I'm not sure which comments you're referring to, but if that's the case, maybe I'm not seeing your comments, because I don't see any other comments from you. So I'm not exactly sure which comments you're referring to, but thank you for checking though. All right, team. So let's get that first Patreon sign up for today for someone who is ready to be able to sign up for that. And again, by signing up for the Patreon, like, again, like, that's like you like giving a huge yes to the universe. That's like you like saying like, yo, like, yes, like, I'm investing in something that's important to me. And again, if you're brand new to the Patreon, to checking out what I'm into, to checking out what I create, go ahead and check out the Patreon, and you can sign up for it later. It doesn't have to be right now. And the Patreon processes, like, the contributions process on the 1st of February. So you could literally sign up today, and it won't cost you anything, and the process comes through on February. So again, we're just hanging out here, and we're going to do that next reading as soon as possible. So for everybody here, you help move the wheel forward in this broadcast. So go ahead and sign up for the Patreon, and we will get right into the next reading as soon as we have that. And again, when you sign up for the Patreon, you can get the Lightworker Oracle deck or the Ananda Tarot deck as part of your reading, and you can also get a private reading as an alternative option as well. And again, you also get the beautiful Lumerian Light Guardian crystals as well, which I'll show you a couple more of here. So, all right. So awesome. Thank you again, Rana. Thank you for your comment. Said nice to hear your readings. Awesome. Is the YouTube feed glitching for you guys? Like, I apologize if it is, because it didn't used to do this, and I'm not exactly sure why it is. But if it is, be sure to jump over to the YouTube, because it's telling me that it's like skipping, and I'm not exactly sure why. Okay, let me see here. I just want to be able to close some extra stuff to be able to clear up some bandwidth. That may be why. I'm just gonna try that. All right, let's see how much of a difference that makes. All right, so again, team, we're gonna get right into our next reading as soon as we have that first person signed up for the Patreon. So by being able to create the conditions in the container for that, it's a really powerful way to be able to help provide value for the community. So again, by you signing up for the Patreon, it also provides an entire reading for the community. So okay, let me know if the Facebook's still gonna skip, because I did just kind of like clear up some bandwidth and stuff like that, so it might make a difference. We shall see. Hopefully it does. I apologize. So, all right. I'm just reading some of the comments here. Awesome. Thank you, Kaylee. Yo, Ryder, welcome back. All right. Okay, team. So again, keeping an eye open for that first Patreon sign up for today. And thank you again to our recent Patreon signups, Lise, Lacey, Matthew, and Chris, our recent Patreon supporters. And so again, let's work on getting at least 3 Patreon signups. And again, I want to be able to get right into this next reading as quick as possible. So once we have that first Patreon sign up, then we will get right into that. And so again, oh, okay, I think we might have just got it. Sweet, we did. Okay, yo, D Johnson, Matt Johnson, thank you so much, brother, for signing up to the Patreon. So there we go. Matt, go ahead, if you're comfortable doing so, jump over to the YouTube link. That way, so like you're watching the main camera. Can you do that for me real quick? Just click the link in my bio. Dan Johnson. Awesome. Sweet. Thank you so much. All right, so there we go. So we got our first Patreon sign up for today. Again, that's just proving the fact that like this works. And again, that's one step closer towards our objective of 200 by the end of this month. So thank you again, everyone, and thank you for like holding space for me grinding and like doing the work here. I'm sure you can appreciate like what is like, again, going into making this possible, because again, like, this isn't just like, oh, I'm just trying to make money. It's like, no, we're creating a foundation of energy that allows us to provide even more value for the community ongoing. And we're creating something really unique here. Like, this isn't something that's being funded by some external global corporation. This is something that we are supporting as a community, and you are a part of as well. And that's something worth celebrating. That's something really, really cool. So thank you again, everyone, for adding your support. Rowana, please feel free to go ahead. Rowana, if you need to jump off for a second, that's totally cool. You can jump off and come back. I promise we'll make sure that you're here if you're signing up for it. So Rowana, go ahead. And honestly, again, like, some people literally just sign up because they're like, like maybe I'm not interested in being a leading member, but I would still love to be able to get one of the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals, which again, like these things in themselves, like they're worth like over $100 depending on like which one it is. So again, Dan, let me know when you're in the chat. There they are. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel, for joining and adding your support. And we are going to get right into this next reading. I'm just going to update the on-screen graphic. And I'm just kind of checking here. For those of you watching the feed on my personal Facebook profile, I may not see your comments right away, but the 1111 movement group, I'll do my best to keep your comments there just because I'm trying to make it the video not skip, so I had to close a few windows. Hopefully that works. All right, so let me just update the on-screen graphic there. And again, don't let let's keep the Patreon donations going. Like, you don't have to wait for me to ask. So go ahead and keep those Patreon contributions coming. And if by happenstance we don't get to you on air, again, I totally provide the option to be able to do a reading for you off air as well. And Dan, I think this is your first time joining in. Is that the case? I think I saw you draw a 222 over there. So, all right. And I think Rowana is going to sign up for the Patreon too. So Rowana, thank you again. Thank you ahead of time as well. And yeah, and it only takes like 3 minutes to sign up for the Patreon. And again, if you have any like questions about that, please feel free to let me know. But let's get right into our next reading so that we can get ready to go into our next reading once we have our next person signed up for the Patreon, which may be Rowana. So thank you again, everyone. And again, for those of you online, like Dan signed up super easily, super quickly. Thank you, Dan, for your support. And we'll get right into this. And again, just to confirm, the Patreon, we keep it incredibly affordable. So like we have it as like a more of a sliding scale, pay what you wish, between like $11 and like $1,000 a month, because the value is really relative. So if anybody here, like we're always looking to be able to like find those big fish. And I hope you understand what I mean by that analogy, because like that's a lot of like support that could be cultivated if there's like someone who's like, oh sweet, you know, like here's like $50 a month, here's $100 a month. Like really, it all does help, and it goes right back to being able to support me, which allows me to invest more of myself into the project. So for anybody here on the Patreon, again, the asking is 11, but if you're just like, you know, like, hey, it's not gonna, like, I'm cool with doing more, absolutely, like, please feel free. Like 11 is just like the minimum asking, so whatever works for you is equally appreciated. So thank you again to all our Patreon supporters. And again, and I hope what I'm doing here can also inspire you to know that you can replicate something similar. You can create your own Patreon and do something similar. And part of what I provide is helping people build their own Patreons if that's something they're interested in. All right, let's get right into this. Daniel, thank you again. And you have a choice. Do you want to choose the Ananda Tarot deck or the Lightworker Oracle deck? Each one's kind of got a bit of its own flavor to it. This one is like a tarot. This one's an oracle. So the oracle is like a little bit more specific sometimes. It kind of like speaks to the present moment a little bit more, but being the theme of Lightworker, always some potent messages. So Daniel, you have the choice. Ananda Tarot deck or Lightworker Oracle deck. Let me know which one, and we will get right into our next reading. And thank you again, everyone. I think we've got like, I don't know, yeah, like over 50 people tuned in right now. So again, reminder, if you're tuned into this, connect with me on Instagram at Mystic Spider-Man, subscribe to me on Skull Babylon, and tune in. I would love to be able to have you there for a global guided meditation full moon on this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, the link for that is through my YouTube channel. All right, so we're going to do the Lightworker Oracle deck. Beautiful, Daniel. Thank you again. Daniel, did you just recently find me through Instagram? Is that how you found me? And super appreciated to just be able to have you jump in, man. Like, that says a lot. Like, again, and that's awesome, because I know that we provide a lot of value here, and I know that what we're creating is really unique, and it really means a lot when people can connect literally for the first time and be like, yo, this is something really special. This is something that's like needed within the community, and yes, I want to be able to invest in this and add my support. So thank you, Daniel. It means a lot. All right, so Daniel, with that said, we're gonna get right into this next reading, and again, we'll go into the next reading as soon as we have that next person signed up for the Patreon. So let's work on getting that next Patreon sign up as we're doing this reading, and then we can get right into that way. Like, ideally within the broadcast, we don't want like those like delays between readings. So for everybody here, let's keep those Patreons coming, and we'll keep the readings coming as well, and we'll keep the inspiration flowing. So all right, And yeah, Rona, I think is signing up for the Patreon as we speak. All right, so Daniel, we can chat more later. I invite you to be able to drop into a place of gratitude. So for everybody here, just inviting you collectively, just in like this micro meditation moment, inviting you to just be able to connect with your heart. You can put your hands on your heart if you want. Connect with your breath. Gentle inhales, gentle exhales. Just allow yourself to be in this space of gratitude, Daniel, and for everybody else here. Feeling that connection of community, what it feels like to be surrounded by people who are passionate about changing the world, whose dharma is a shared vision of being able to help inspire others. Daniel, as you're in this space, I invite you to speak forth the intention of show me what I need to see, or show us what we need to see. And as you are here, I invite you to just take a few more breaths. And when you are ready, type now into the chat. Just take an extra couple breaths, and I'm going to charge the deck. And so as we continue to let the light shine, we continue to allow ourselves to truly find that the gifts that we seek are already here, that everything we need is already near. And so let's cultivate this inspiration from within our hearts. Let us shine forth the light so that all can take part in this awakening of the dream, in this resurgence of the streams. And as Daniel types now into the chat, we shall pull a card to allow the message to be seen. So there we go there. And we will see what card Daniel has pulled, our newest Patreon supporter. So, all right. Ooh, this is interesting. And again, this deck is really interesting to me because I'm discovering this deck with you. Like literally I've only been reading this deck as we've been doing these readings. So a lot of this is like brand new for me too. So it's really, really exciting. So again, here's our reading. Here's our card pulled on behalf of Daniel, our newest Patreon supporter. But again, if you're listening to this, this message is for you. This message is for all of us. Light workers, light guardians, and shifters. The card that we have pulled is card number 7, Unplug from Mass Consciousness. Take a look at that there. Show that to the Instagram fam. And give me 1 second here. I'm going to open this up. All right, I think this one's gonna be a good one. They're all good. All right, so let's just look at the image here, and we'll just all right, we'll explain it together here. All right. Okay, so looking at the image here again, if you're watching on Instagram, click the link in my bio so that you can tune in on YouTube. That way, so you can see the camera through there. So looking at this image here, what you can see, again, number 7, Unplugged from Mass Consciousness. These 3 faces kind of angled down towards the bottom of the card, yet above them, very notably, you have like this like kingdom kind of like representing the higher conscious realms, kind of like a staircase literally going into the mind, literally going into the cranium, the brain, and their hair kind of looks like fire. And again, like this like kingdom kind of is like a chapel, kind of looks like a temple with these beautiful white lights kind of shining behind it. So again, before we even read the card, again, kind of like reminding us to be able to like tap into the mass consciousness that is like coming from like a higher dimensional place, opposed to like the programming that's kind of like keeping things in the shadow. So again, you can see their eyes are kind of closed, maybe they're asleep. Some of them are like their faces are kind of relaxed, a little bit of a smile, maybe it's like a bliss thing. And yeah, some really, really rich, beautiful like oranges and reds on there and yellows. So let's get right into this and learn a little bit more about what this card has to share. So again, as we do these readings, reminder that like we do these with the purpose to bring forth the message of show us what we need to see, something that's going to serve us. So by you tuning into this broadcast, let it be something that's going to be able to like continue to inspire you as we move forward on this path as shifters together. And again, shifters is a term that we use within the Paradigm Shift Central project. A shifter is someone who is helping assist with the shift in consciousness through acts of creativity and compassion. If you're tuned into this broadcast, you are a shifter. So welcome. All right, quick shout out. Rona, thank you so much for adding your support to the Patreon. They are signed up there now as well. So we will do this reading and then we will get right into the next reading for Rana. If you can let me know how to pronounce that, we'll do that in a second. And again, we'll keep doing that. And again, let's keep getting the Patreon supporters going. It's my goal to get like 10 Patreon signups today. And we're going to go do this broadcast for the next couple hours. And then I'm going to take a break, but then we'll be back later this evening. So let's read more about what this card has to share. And then we'll get right into the next reading for Rana. And then let's get right into the next reading for that for the next Patreon supporter. So for anybody here, sign up for the Patreon as you're listening to this broadcast. Just to be able to like delay, to be able to prevent any delay. All right, let's listen. Let's see what this card has. So for those of you on Instagram, click the link in my bio. Tune in on YouTube. Here we go. For everybody here listening, Rana, thank you again. And Daniel. This message is for you. So if you want to close your eyes, listen. Be present. Be here. Number 7. Unplug from mass consciousness. There is a belief system based on fear, doubt, and distrust that is known as mass consciousness. It says it is safer to stay with the crowd, not to question what you have taught. It says you cannot trust the divine to take care of your financial well-being or your emotional needs. It says you should be afraid not to take risks. It says if you dare to stand up and live your truth, you'll be lost and alone, humiliated, rejected, or even destroyed. You are being guided to unplug from that system of belief. You are capable of a more creative, loving, and soul-satisfying way of living. To access this, let go of the way that is too small for your soul. One thing I'll just say, there's still more to read. When we do the readings, usually the cards kind of like sequence. So like one will kind of like lead into the next. So as we read this, kind of keep in mind what we just talked about with the Wheel of Fortune about like, you know, like really owning our destiny. Okay, keep listening. You guys are doing great. You are brave enough. You are brave and aware enough to think outside the square, beyond what society or your peers may consider normal. You are supposed to be questioning things right now. You are in a transition from one way of thinking to another, opening up to a new world which you can trust enough to live in with peace and happiness because of the upgraded new beliefs that you are cultivating. No matter how many may resist or criticize your choices, perhaps your new ideas take you away from the world they feel comfortable in. Your higher guidance encourages you to keep opening your mind to a more loving higher reality. If you have been thinking along new lines and wonder if you are going crazy, your guidance tells you you are doing a great job. You are not crazy. Trust yourself. You are thinking in ways that do not belong to the mass consciousness. It can seem scary at first, but once you realize that benefits gained from unplugging, you will enjoy the process much more. If it will free you and empower you to live a life of your own choosing. Opportunities and connections can open you up in ways that defy your old beliefs. Sometimes breaking from the accepted norm, doing things differently, or being considered weird to family, story of our lives, right? Colleagues and friends is a sign that you are breaking away from the consciousness of the masses, which is not compatible with your own higher frequency consciousness. You were born to bring a new vibration of awareness to this planet. You will find those who can benefit and even love you for this difference, and those who are challenged of fearful of you for it. Either way, you can love and approve of yourself, nourish your relationship, and support and have compassion detachment from those that do not, without compromising who you are in truth. So keep unplugging yourself one layer, thought, word, and deed at a time. from that which the mass consciousness would have you buy into. More stuff, more fear, more competition, more doubt, and more suffering. Only in mass consciousness. I just had that. You can challenge any thought you don't want to have. Free yourself and have the power to change the world and the world we live in as a result. One liberating thought at a time. Okay, I'm looking forward to diving into this. Before we do that, I just have to restart the Instagram broadcast real quick. So if you have any comments on this, go ahead and leave those right now. For those on Instagram, click my bio link. I'm going to restart the broadcast in 2 seconds. All right. So just give me 1 second here. I just have to click a couple buttons here and we'll get right into my interpretation. But again, I'm sure that card already, like without me even having to explain it, because it is like fairly self-explanatory in itself, but I do want to dive deeper relative to, again, how it relates to our community, to our team and everything like that. Okay, just making sure. Cool. But again, like I feel like that card in itself is definitely a message that a lot of us can relate to. Like obviously, like even the fact that you're listening to like a tarot reading and stuff like that, like that's not very common. That's like not very normal and everything. But here we are and we're learning together and we're again like finding ourselves in like-minded company. Again, just give me 2 seconds. I just want to be able to finish this and then I'll be able to communicate with full attention. I just have to pew click buttons. All right. Okay. And all right, we're live back on Instagram, just posting the pin link there and we'll get right back into this. Okay, so thank you again, Daniel. Thank you again to our recent Patreon supporters, to Rana, and Daniel as well. And again, we'll keep doing more readings throughout this afternoon, and we'll keep inviting people to sign up onto the Patreon. Yo, Matthew, thanks for joining in, man. Okay, so the card that we just pulled, which is super relatable, Matthew, I think you would relate to this one. Unplugging from mass consciousness. So again, what we just read in the book, for those of you who are tuned in right now, I think this is a big part of the story that we all must go through. This idea of being able to observe from an outside perspective of the story that is being told by our culture. And without really having to like dive into it too deeply, it's obvious that there is this story that is kind of like meant to almost like suck our energy, to drain our soul. And it's one in which our worth is determined by an external circumstance. And how many of you have ever kind of like grown up with that belief system, with that paradigm that like, oh, like I'm only cool if my friends think I'm cool. I'm only cool if I got the cool things. Like I'm only like popular if my friends think I'm popular. And if I'm weird, then they won't get along with me and they won't invite me to their parties, and therefore my value is a reflection of their recognition of my presence. That mindset can be very, very challenging, and something that it's the challenge in itself is ultimately what helps us break out of it. But not everyone will break out of it, and it takes a lot of courage to be able to break out of it, because again, it's a huge paradigm shift. And again, one that, for Daniel, for anybody else listening to this, that I invite us to be able to applaud ourselves for, because you have a choice. You have a choice to keep kind of, take the blue pill and stay in, stay in the dream and kind of, or to stay asleep within the dream, or to take the red pill and kind of wake up. And when you take the blue pill, you might kind of find yourself like your peers might accept you because you get along and you kind of do things with them. But deep inside your soul, there's always going to be this element of you that's kind of yearning for something more, that can feel there's something else to life, that knows that you are infinitely powerful and infinitely divine, regardless of whether or not someone can see that. And so with this card, it's really inviting us to be able to reflect on our relationships between ourselves and community, and to be able to know that we have to step outside the box in order to be able to open ourselves up to the bigger picture, to be able to see more of the solutions, to be able to create space for us to be able to learn the things that are going to nurture our spirit, nurture our soul, and change the way we see the world around us and ultimately ourselves. And so there's an invocation that we're going to read here after I just kind of talk about this for a little bit more. But again, Sometimes breaking from the accepted norm, doing things differently, or being considered weird to family, colleagues, and friends is a sign that you are breaking from the consciousness of the masses, which is not compatible with your own higher frequency of consciousness. You were born to bring a new vibration and of awareness to this planet. You will find those who can benefit and even love you for this difference, and those who are challenged or fearful of you for it. So again, it's kind of one of those things, and this is kind of going back to the Wheel of Fortune that we were talking about, is that your vibe attracts your tribe. So sometimes we kind of get stuck into like staying where we are out of fear of not knowing what may be outside of what we're familiar with. But this card is really reminding us that, like, hey, like, instead of just hanging out with like that old group of friends, I'm kind of just using a general metaphor. It's almost like more of like a high school metaphor or something like that. Instead of just like hanging out with that old group of friends who just kind of do like the same things, and they may be great people. Like, again, that's like nothing wrong with them or anything like that. But if you're like feeling this calling within yourself, that's just like, you know, like, I can't talk to my friends about the weird stuff that I'm into, and I want to be able to find other people who I can talk to about, like, about soul and about dreams and about Sasquatch and about UFOs and about metaphysical elements of reality. I want it, like, where are those people? Where are those people? Where are those people? Know that by you setting forth the intention to say yes to yourself, and to say, yes, I am weird, and to embrace that weird, because this world needs your weird. And weird is literally like another word for magic. Drop your 1111s in the comment below if you're weird. And again, when you embrace your weird and you bring it into who you are, you bring it into your personality, you bring it forth so that others can see it, you begin to align and attract with others who resonate on a similar frequency, who resonate on a similar vibration. Truth behold, that is why you tuned into this broadcast. That is how you happen to be here. You would have not tuned into this broadcast if you were not already like a little bit weird, a little bit like into the fringe, so to speak. And so for this card, I want you to remember that this card is really inviting us to be able to step into our purpose, to be different. If you want to make a difference, you must be the difference. If you want to change the world, you have to do something that is different. You can't just do things in the same way. And know that in the process of doing things that may not be normal, that may not be commonly seen, you will get challenged. But that challenge doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're useless. Those challenges are actually there to test you, to allow you to practice your flexibility, to allow you to embrace your spiritual ability to kind of like do like backflips over people's insults. Because again, you're going to get to that point where through me communicating this message to say like, you're fucking worthy. Like, your weird is like what we need. Like, literally embrace it and balance it. Like, don't get like, you know, like there's a weirdness, but you want like a weirdness that is still anchored with intention, right? Like, I'm not saying like just go like run out onto the streets and run up and down, like just doing something ridiculous. But if you can do something, and this is again what I do, I go out on street corners and I do free hugs. And doing free hugs is a thing that is incredibly weird to some people because it's so different. But when you get that one person who's just like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome, this is cool, and what you're doing is actually like really badass, that's when you know what you're doing is important. There will always be people that will always try and keep you in their story, in their comfort zone. They will oftentimes project their insecurities when they see you going outside of the comfort zone because they themselves are a little bit scared to do so. And it's like almost like a program that's built into their head. That's like it's like a protection mechanism. That's like, oh no, like they're waking up. Like Agent Smith kind of comes in and tries to bring them back to sleep. And in the back of their mind, they're actually like a little bit envious of your courage to do something different, to do something weird. And maybe they need that. They need to see you do that. So again, like, how many people have had this experience? This has happened with me, where literally back in the day, you were like the only one amongst your friends who was talking about weird stuff, who was talking about like lucid dreaming and astral projection and quantum mechanics and chakras and dream and all sorts of stuff. And you were just like totally into it, and they were just kind of like, yeah, like, I don't know, it's just not for me. Like, they weren't making fun of you, but they're just like, yeah, that's your thing, but it's okay. But flash forward like a year or maybe a couple years, and suddenly they come to you one day and they're just like, hey, like you're really into that stuff, right? Like, can I talk to you about this? Because like I've been like finding myself starting to get really interested into it. So your bravery plants a seed within the heart of other people that invites them to be able to activate their own courage, to step out of the matrix, to awaken within the matrix, to be able to awaken more of their soul, to nurture more of their soul. So keep unplugging yourself, one layer, one thought, one word and deed at a time, from that which the mass consciousness would have you buy into. The mass consciousness buying you into more stuff, more fear, consume, indulge. So more doubt and more suffering. You can challenge any thought you don't want to have. Free yourself. You have the power to change the world and the world we live in as a result, one liberating thought at a time. So it is your responsibility to make the choice to live a liberated life. And yes, it will have its challenges, but it will also have its excitements and its mysteries and its joys and its flavors and its celebrations that the mundane will never know. The mundane will continue to exist in a blissful ignorance, and that's okay, because again, we want to be able to understand that it's not an us versus them. It's not the awakened versus the asleep. It's not that at all. It's all one team. It's all one consciousness. And even still, there will be people, there will be souls that will continue to maintain their presence within the mass consciousness, because that's a choice, because they find comfort in that. And because when you choose to wake up, there is suffering that comes with that. There is challenge, there is strife. But again, that challenge is just growth. It is literally expansion. It is the discomfort of kind of breaking out of an old husk and a shell that no longer serves you. So do not be scared of the discomfort. The discomfort is actually what you want. You want the discomfort. You want the discomfort so that it will help you build resilience. And that way in the future, when someone comes up to you and they'll be like, you're kind of weird, man, you'll just be like, oh, thank you. Like, thanks for the compliment, like, turn it around. Embrace it. Allow their observation to be something that's, again, reflecting on the fact that they're seeing you, they're acknowledging it, and then in the back of their mind, they're actually just like, why can't I do that? Can I do that? That person's doing free hugs. That person's dancing on the street corner. That person's making cool videos. Can I do that too? Do I have permission to do that? And so you plant the seed of excitement. You plant the seed of permission that invites people to be able to continue to wake up and unplug. And again, as we do this, we shift from competition into collaboration. We shift from selfishness into altruism, into awareness, into seeing more of the bigger story. And that is what we need. It's a shift in a paradigm. It's a shift in awareness. It's knowing that there is a bigger story out there. And my goodness, my goddess, there is a huge story out there. A huge metaphysical quantum story out there. A spiritual story out there. And it's hard to see it from within the confines of mass consciousness. But once you step outside of it, it will start showing it to you. And there is no limit to how much you will be able to explore. There is only unlimited mystery and excitement. Plenty of like knowledge to be able to access down the rabbit hole. And again, and I think that's why a lot of people, they don't even know that there's a choice. They don't even know that there's an alternative, because they need people like us to help lead the way. They need people like us to live our life as an example, and then for other people to see that and be able to be like, whoa, like that person is like really badass. They're experiencing a sense of joy that I'm not familiar with. I want that too. And the soul wants that. Absolutely. The soul yearns for that. So listen to your yearning within your soul. If you find yourself still kind of like breaking out of kind of like that old kind of like paradigm of your old high school friends who you used to hang out with, and again, nothing against them, because again, it's kind of like this idea that, you know, it's like for every 10 people, one of them will kind of like begin to like shift out of things first, but then that one person can create a ripple effect, and then it creates the others will begin to awaken that. So honor the fact that you are here. If you are here, you are here with a purpose, you are here with a fortune, you are here with a destiny, and your destiny is to be able to share your weird with the world. And again, your weird is not stupid, your weird is not dumb, your weird is not silly. Well, it can be silly, it can be playful. Your weird is important. Your weird is valuable. Your weird is magic. Your weird is light. Your weird is inspirational. Your weird is creativity. Your weird is art. Your weird is love. And shine that so that others can see it too, and so that they can honor the weird within themselves. Drop an 1111 in the comments if this resonates with you, my friends. Let me know, and add any additional comments as well. I'd love to be able to read those on screen. Daniel, let me know how this resonates with you in particular, and we'll read your comments. And then I'm going to read this invocation, which again is like something that as I'm reading it, I invite you to kind of like reflect as well. Yo, Indra, welcome back. This is a super awesome card to be able to receive. This is a great card. Again, thank you, Daniel, for helping pull this card. For those of you on Facebook, drop comments in the chat, because I'm not sure if the video is skipping or not. And again, I apologize if it is. If it is, make sure you jump over to YouTube where it should be fine. Here's the invocation. I want to read this to you. So again, as I'm reading this to you, imagine as I'm reading this, this is like you speaking to yourself. So you can even kind of like speak it back in your mind. Invocation. Of my own free will, I now ask for spiritual intervention and divine protection through the guidance that loves me unconditionally. I now request the thorough and complete removal of any entity, thought form, belief system, cord, attachment, or conditioning from my body, mind, and soul that does not resonate with the pure frequency of unconditional love. I ask for this process to happen with divine mercy, wisdom, and blessing. I call upon my own inner power and strength to listen for my truth and stand in the light of those truths at the perfect time and in the perfect way, with the loving and empowering assistance of my spiritual team. Through divine grace and my own inner spiritual authority, so be it. May all beings be blessed by divine love. May all beings be happy and free. So there you go. There you go. Awesome. Daniel says very much resonates 1111. Thank you. Thank you as well, Daniel, for again, adding your support on this Patreon and helping us pull this card. Super, super powerful card. So Daniel, if you want me to send the write-up for you, direct message me on Instagram and I'll reply to that. And yeah, and then you can read this over as well. And if anybody else wants the card, the image of it, let me know and I can send that to you as well. So again, unplugging from mass consciousness. That is what we are doing. And as we do that, again, this is the idea. As we do that, it allows us to step outside the box. And then the next step is to actually be able to intentionally bring our weird into the mass consciousness, to plant the seeds into the mass consciousness, to rebirth Babylon from within. That's like a big theme that I talk about. It's not just about unplugging from mass consciousness and then running away. It's about bringing that awareness and then allowing it to give us the bravery and the spiritual armor so that we can step back into it with our integrity, with our wokeness, so to speak, and to be able to continue to plant seeds and help others who are still in the mass consciousness, and to be able to help wake people up through our art, through our conversations, through free hugs. All of these little things, they plant seeds and they help wake people up. Again, go watch one of my free hug videos and you'll see exactly what I mean. You'll see exactly what I mean in terms of, like, again, the impact of getting like our message into the mass consciousness after we've kind of like woken up from it can have, to be able to help give people hope and to remind them that there is something more out there than perhaps what they've been living up to this point, and we can be the permission for them to experience that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sweet. All right. So Daniel, thank you again. Thank you to everybody tuning into this. We'll get right into our next reading. Rana, let me know if you're in the chat. For those of you asking for a reading, again, the readings are available for individuals in the collective when people sign up to the Patreon. And I know there's a few people here who are like, yo, I'm going to sign up for the Patreon a little bit later. So thank you again, everyone, in a non-linear perspective, for signing up to the Patreon whenever it works for you. And again, the Patreon donations process February 1st. So our objective is to get 200 Patreon signups by February 1st, before February 1st. So you can see we're currently at about we're at about 151 right now. I'm going to update the screen in a second. Rana says, please send me the incantation to release what doesn't serve me, to be open to divine unconditional love. Rana, send me a direct message when you can through Facebook, and yes, I'd be happy to do that. Okay, I want to be able to actually just kind of like show you before we get right into our next reading for Rana, our newest Patreon supporter. And again, we'll keep an eye open for new Patreon signups as we go. I want to be able to just like show you a little bit of a video of me doing free hugs. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm just pulling this up. Okay. Ignore the on-screen stuff. Hold on, you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. I'm just doing a behind the scenes thing here. And then we're going to get right into Rana's reading in the next couple seconds. So, all right. So I'm just literally showing you because I want you to understand, like, again, like I know you can keep hearing me. You don't have to hear the audio right now because it's like me doing poetry and stuff like that. But you can watch this video on my Patreon. But again, like, look at this video. Those of you who have seen this video, again, obviously this is an example of my work, but like this video is literally like what it looks like when we are helping unplug people from mass consciousness by bringing our awareness like back into consciousness. You know, like that's the thing. Like that's a big theme for me. Like what I'm doing right now with the team that I'm building, I want to build the team of people who are ready to like put their boots on the ground. You know, like spiritual soldiers, light guardians, whatever you want to call us, but those of us who are able and willing to like get ourselves like into culture, into society, to share our art, to get into our cities, to get into our communities, so that we can be portals of synchronicity to be able to help wake other people up as well. So again, you can see this is me doing free hugs in Toronto. And again, like there's a part later on in the video, and there's like this woman, and she tells me that, you see it with like the on-screen dialogue. And she basically says, like, you know, she's like, you never know like how important that one hug is. Like to her in that moment, she's like, this means so much to me. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we do it, because you never know. Like you don't need to be like, oh, like I'm only going to do this if I know it's going to work. Like, no, it will work. Trust in that process, and then show up to allow the universe to meet you halfway. Kind of going back to the Wheel of Fortune, me doing free hugs, you doing free hugs is a great way to be able to practice this, this idea of the universe meeting you halfway. So you can see the woman there. She says, you never know when someone needs a hug, and what you do is very important. She's saying this to you, to all of us. And then I say like, oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much. You never know how good it makes me feel. So there we go. So even just in that moment, you know, like that little woman probably just took that inspiration with her and like brought it home. And yeah, so again, if you're inspired by this video, if you're inspired by what we're creating, connect with us. Stay connected. Like if this is your first time following us, again, I'm not just doing this broadcast to do tarot readings. I'm literally doing it to be able to send out a signal, to serve as a synchronistic portal, to be able to attract people so that they can connect with the team that we are building. So again, that's the end of the video there. So thank you again, everyone, just for being able to invite me, to allowing me to share that. And again, paradigmshiftcentral.com. You can check that out when you get a chance. You can find the links for that through the Patreon as well. So yeah, I just wanted to be able to share that. And again, that's on my like my YouTube. You can find that like super easily. You can find that on my Patreon. I really encourage you to watch that video because it's one of my favorite videos that I've made. So all right, awesome. Yeah, and again, you know, like, man, like for the people who like may not be, you know, like super friendly and things like that, like those are the people that like need the free hugs more than ever. So there's a lot of suffering in this world, and it's up to us to be able to, like, again, like, be a beacon for healing, to be able to, like, do our own healing and invite others into that space as well. All right, I'm just going to update the on-screen graphics here real quick. I'm just going to add Rana's name, one of our newest Patreon supporters. And thank you again, Rana. Rana and Dan. And if both of you want to get synced up as a leading member, be sure to check the email that came through when you signed up to the Patreon. That has a link for our team chat, and also where you can create your profile on the main website. The project is constantly evolving, so when you sign up onto the Patreon today, you have access to, like, all the value that we're creating in the future. And again, I appreciate everyone in your support. The project has been 10 years in the making. It's constantly evolving, it's constantly growing, and we're constantly inviting new people to be able to connect with what we are creating. So thank you as well, everyone. What we're doing here is something that is seen by the bigger community. The community, like, think about this. If you're just like someone on Instagram and you see this idea of, like, this team of people coming together, like, that's inspiring, because again, it's the story. It's the story we're creating. It's a story of us coming together and uplifting and shifting consciousness and literally making a difference by helping accelerate the shift. So, all right. Awesome. Rose, thank you so much for your comment. Rose says, much love. Thank you for all you share to shift the paradigms. Awesome. Thank you, Rose. Okay, 1 second here. Oh, I just realized, I apologize, I just realized my, like, link for the Patreon that I was posting wasn't working in the YouTube. I apologize for that. That's because of, like, the way how it was formatted. Give me 2 seconds here. I just need to be able to do that properly. Let's see, how can I think that should work. Okay, let me know if that works. Does that work? So there, now that should, there we go. Okay, so that works. I apologize. Thanks for letting me know. Rensky, thanks for letting me know that the link was glitched out. So there, now people can easily connect to the Patreon and sign up. So again, we're going to get right into this next reading. Rana, let me know if you're here. And Rana, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Is it Rana? Because like, Rona is like a, that's like a hardware store, and it's spelt. Is it spelt? Actually, I don't know. I don't know if it's spelt the same. But Rana, Faith, thank you again for adding your support onto the Patreon. Let me know. We're going to get right into this next reading. And again, for those of you on Facebook, I apologize. If the feed is glitching on Facebook, jump over to YouTube. Like, tune in on YouTube, because it's not glitching there. It's just an issue with Facebook. I'm not exactly sure why. But when you tune in on Facebook, you can also join the live chat there. So I'm just going to post a link. Watch on YouTube into the Facebook. And again, I apologize if I'm not seeing all the comments on Facebook all the time. We currently have, like, close to, yes, fly your freak flag, says Diane. Thank you, Diane, one of our Patreon supporters. So yeah, I just have to close, like, some of the chats, but I'll keep as many open as I can. Rana, like Donna, thank you, Rana. That makes it incredibly easy for me. my Canadian accent makes it hard to figure out words sometimes. All right, Rana, we're gonna get right into our next reading. Let me know, Rana, would you like the Lightworker Oracle deck or the Ananda Tarot deck? Awesome. Thank you, Rose, for letting me know. Man, that I was literally posting that link, like, all yesterday, and it never worked. That's funny. All right, for those of you tuning in on Instagram, if you click the link in my bio, you can tune in on YouTube, which is where the rest of the team chat is, and you can get, like, the proper front angle of the readings that we are doing. We currently got at least over 30 people still tuned in right now, so we're going to get right into our next reading. And again, for those of you who would like a reading on air, they are available as people sign up to the Patreon. And the Patreon is, again, is a monthly micro contribution of $5 to get a reading, or $11 or higher to be able to join as a leading member, which is like the asking contribution. You can contribute higher. And when you sign up, you can also get a beautiful Lemurian Light Guardian crystal as a gift. And you can also have access to me as a private conscious media creation coach, which is worth like over like $250 a month, meaning that me and you will get to have time to do like one-on-one brainstorming. So if you're a conscious creator, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have an Instagram, if you're trying to like build clients and be an entrepreneur, which anybody can be these days, then be sure to check out what we're offering. And again, like, I'm here to be able to help support you, and it's incredibly affordable and a great way to be able to invest in yourself and the community. All right, Rana, do you I feel I feel like you might want the Lightworker Oracle deck. Do you like, you're saying your spirit may choose for me. Rana, let me know. I literally want you to choose. I want you to be able to choose. I'm asking you to choose before, instead of me choosing. And either or, whatever one is exciting to you, is cool with me. So go ahead and let me know which one you want, and we'll do it from there. And again, we're gonna get right into this next reading. So if anybody here is like thinking about signing up for the Patreon later, let me know. And for the people already signed up for the Patreon, please feel free to just like, you know, help champion it. And what I mean by that is like, let people know and be like, yo, like signing up for the Patreon is awesome. You should definitely sign up. Like, I love it. And again, and there's more value that's still going to be coming down the road and everything like that. So, but a lot of the value that I provide is like free value for the community. And that's because we want to be able to keep things accessible. So for example, the next guided global meditation, like that in itself is like worth a lot. Like if someone was hiring me to do that, like it would be like something where they'd pay me like thousands of dollars, or people would pay money to get in, but we keep it affordable and accessible because again, this is about being able to build community and share the inspiration. And again, and be able to like invite people to be a part of the community. All right, Donna wants to do the Lightworker Oracle deck. So let's, again, as we're doing this next reading for Donna, yo, Chris, thanks for tuning in. Chris, one of our Patreon supporters. Chris, go ahead and jump over to the YouTube channel. Click the link in my bio. Yo, Culture, thanks for joining in as well, dude. So again, for those of you who are tuned into this, let's get ready for our next reading by having someone sign up for the Patreon as we're doing this broadcast. Awesome, Ryder, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you around. Again, I'll be live later tonight. So again, let's do this next reading, and as we're doing this next reading, it only takes 3 minutes to sign up for the Patreon. So if you're just like, yo, like I want to be a part of this, I want to be a part of this team, I want to be able to invest in myself, I want to be able to like work alongside like Brendan, myself, and the rest of the team, and to be able to like develop as a conscious media creator, and to be a part of our like Synergy Circle broadcasts, then definitely sign up for the Patreon when you get a chance. And again, and it's really flexible. Like even if you sign up for the Patreon and you're just like, oh, you know, like maybe I have to adjust it and stuff later on, the money is important, but it's really about you being able to like show me that you're committed. So if you can show me that you're committed, then like I want to be able to invest in you as well, and that's really important. Your support is appreciated in many forms. So Rana, not Donna. Did I say Donna? Oh, that's why. Rana like Donna, but not Donna. Okay. Cool. Rana means God. Oh, interesting. Very cool. All right, let's get right into this next reading. And again, we'll keep an eye open for the Patreon. I'm gonna keep going until about 4, but then I'm gonna have to stop because my voice, I have to like seriously, that's the only reason I stop, is because talking like this is like a performance. It takes a lot of energy. I know you guys appreciate that, and that's why I need to rest. I can't just literally do it 10 hours straight, or else it wouldn't work. So I gotta rest my throat chakra. Oh, my throat chakra is getting sore, guys. Anyways, spiritual nerd. All right, let's get right into this next reading. Rana, we're going to use the Lightworker Oracle deck. Again, for everybody here, thank you so much. Let's get that next Patreon sign up as soon as we can so that we can get right into our next reading. And we're going to do the Lightworker Oracle deck. So for everybody here, Rana, let me know that you're ready in the chat, and we will move into this next one. So thank you again, everyone. We've got 2 Patreon signups so far. Our goal was 3 during this broadcast, 10 by the end of the day. So let's get that 3rd Patreon sign up. And again, if anyone wants to sign up at a high level, like yo, like sign up at like the like over like 30. If you sign up at the $33 level, you can get a monthly shift or booster kit as an option. That's an option, which is like super cool. And those are like the buttons with the free hug signs and stuff. But if someone wants to sign up for like the $69 level, like please do. Like I'll throw in some like extra incentives, like if you're in a position to do so. Because again, like it's all relative. Like literally, I know there are people that are just like, yeah, like I'm like sitting on an inheritance of like thousands of dollars, and so here, like money is energy, right? So again, it's super appreciated. Whatever works for you is totally cool. Thank you again. All right, let's get right into this next reading. You guys are awesome. Rana, I invite you to be able to drop into your heart space, drop into the space of gratitude. For everybody here, just allowing us to connect with our breath. Close your eyes. So allow yourself to bring back that intention of gratitude. What it feels like to be surrounded, to be a part of a team of people who are passionate about helping change the world. Souls that have come here on a shared mission to be able to help inspire, to awaken, to nurture the seeds within our hearts. So as you breathe here, Rana, I invite you to align with the intention of show me what I need to see, or show us what we need to see. Speak it with your heart, speak it with your mind, speak it with your voice. Take a few more breaths here, Rana. When you are ready, type now into the chat and we will split the deck and pull the card. And just give me an extra couple moments to just charge the deck a little bit more. And so, as we take these breaths, time folds in on itself. As we feel the edge of infinity meeting the inner elf, the magic that is within is here to serve as a bridge between worlds, is here to awaken the light within all boys and girls, within all people of this earth, who are extensions of one soul, who awaken the God and Goddess within, for that is the eternal goal, to be in the joy of this moment, to be in the breath of this breath, to continue to show up each and every single day as we learn and do our best. So breathe into this moment together, my friends, feeling the joy of this present that never ends. As the gifts unfold, the story is told, and the truth is revealed of the infinite goal. So as we wait for Rana to drop a now into the chats, patiently we breathe and we wait to show us what message the universe has. Just take another breath here, everyone. Nice breathe. Big, 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 deep breath. It's aligned with that intention, synchronicities. Feeling that moon getting pretty full. Once Rana is ready, they will type now into the chat. And continuing to breathe here. Pretty sure, unless the Facebook glitched out, pretty sure Rana's still there. So once Rana's ready, just waiting for that now. All right, Rana. Once you're ready, type that now into the chat if you haven't already yet. We're waiting for it. There it is. Did you type now, Rana? I need you to literally type now. I think there's a bit of a delay. I think that's probably why. That's okay. We'll just use this opportunity to practice some more flowetry, because that is the truth that connects between you and me. When we open ourselves as channels, we will truly see that it is the joy in playing that allows us to be present within this moment, here within this gift. And as Rana types now into the chat, we shall see what message the universe is bringing into our moment. There we go. All right, so here we go. Here's our next reading for Rana, one of our newest Patreon supporters. Again, thank you, Rana. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone, for adding their support. And I'm going to show this card. And again, as we do this, then we will get right into our next reading as we have someone else sign up for the Patreon. So if you're listening to this, listen to this reading while signing up for the Patreon if you're comfortable multitasking. Awesome. Thank you, Chris, for your comment as well. All right. Okay. So the card that we have pulled on behalf of Rana, our newest Patreon supporter, and for everybody else who is here. Card number 39, Divine Talents. So let me just open this up here. This one's going to be pretty cool. I already know that. Again, I haven't read this one. I could probably just I'll just talk about it without even reading it. No. But again, let's take a look here at what we got. And again, for everybody here, if you're ready to sign up for the Patreon, please do that. And then that will allow us to jump right into that next reading as soon as possible. So, okay. All right. So looking at this image here, let's see what we got. Again, for those of you on Instagram, click my bio link to tune in on YouTube. So here we have this image of this figure, a male by the looks of it, with wings, obviously depicting the image of an angel, and they are carrying a flute. They have a flute with them, and they look like they're jamming pretty hard right now. And there's a beautiful full moon behind them, which is obviously very synchronistic considering we are coming up on the full moon. And yeah, these like beautiful like reds between like the moon and the wings in the clouds. And yeah, just like a very determined kind of like present look within the face of the person playing the music. And yeah, very, very beautiful image there. And again, card number 39. Cool. And that's awesome. Rana, sorry, I'll get it right eventually. Rana is into the threes, which is also for me too. Yeah, 3s, 6s, and 9s. That's definitely something for me. Like 9, 6 is like a big resonator number for me. All right, so let's read this here. Thank you again, Chris. Thank you for hanging out. Anybody else on the Instagram, wherever you want to hang out is cool. All right. If you're in the process of signing up for the Patreon, please let me know, and that way so we can just kind of get ready to celebrate that as we do this reading. Oh, it looks like, hold on, my I just have to restart my Facebook crash, or my Instagram crash. All right, restarting real quick. Okay, here we go. All right, we're live on all fronts. All right, so Rana, our newest Patreon supporter, thank you again. For anybody here, if you're listening to this message is for you. Here we go. Number 39, Divine Talents. You are a talented soul. Over many lifetimes, you have developed your spiritual abilities to channel higher awareness, attract healing energy, and radiate light to uplift the consciousness of those around you. Your divine talents are many and uniquely expressed through you. Your talents do not have to resemble those of another or have their own estimatable value. Do not be afraid to use them. 1 second. Divine talents are a way in which the universe reminds us of what we are here to do. Divine talents are unlimited. They include the ability to channel spiritual guidance and healing energy, to perceive clairvoyantly, to be psychic and empathic. Other spiritual talents are the ability to release earthbound spirits, earth healing techniques such as working with energy grids, as well as healing abilities with crystals and many and varied technologies of light. There are other spiritual talents too. These include writing, performing, sound healing, dancing to awaken awareness, creating art, photography, or divinely inspired tools and jewelry. Cooking food that heals body and spirit is a spiritual talent, and are the abilities to bring people together, to offer comforting and inspiring words at the right time, to help others overcome fear and feel more at peace in moments of importance, and more. You could use your divine talents in your career as a healer, in your work, in your corporate world, or in your stay-at-home role as a partner, a parent, helping to raise more conscious, secure, and empowered children. In a world that is in desperate need of strong, spiritually grounded leaders for the future, you can use your talents to create a vocation that truly inspires you and brings your light to the world. You can use them in the line at the grocery store. The point is that you use them. This is a really cool card. I like this one. This oracle comes to you with a message. You have spiritual talents. some of which have been developed in other lifetimes and will simply and suddenly spring back to life, as if from out of the blue this lifetime. Others need a little bit more attention, patience, and effort to be brought to the life in this world. This is particularly the case for you at this time if you also have drawn or are also attracted to read the message now, the Oracle of Past Life Activation. Sometimes there is fear in sharing talents. You may have a subconscious or very conscious past life recollection that involved shame, isolation, ridicule, fear, or even torture or death as a response to sharing your talents for healing and helping others. Maybe you fear your spiritual talent will not allow you to meet your material needs, or that others will reject or deny your talent, even if you know it to be authentic and helpful. Or perhaps you need to acknowledge your talents, yourself, believe in yourself, in your abilities, in your capacity to use those talents in a constructive, healing way. Keep developing your talents until your own unique expression comes to life. Don't give up in the early and possibly awkward stages, dismissing your abilities as less than those of another. Trust that there is something very real and worthwhile in you. Do not dismiss or diminish your potential. Treat yourself as an investment worthy of development. Give yourself a gift, enough time, attention, and practice to discover what you are capable of. The universe knows, so shall you. Soon you shall too. This oracle reminds you to do what makes you happy, to chase your sacred chase your sacred bliss and express yourself in the world via the unique abilities that the divine has bestowed upon you. When you follow what you love, you and your life path. When you follow what you love, you are on your life path, your dharma, and you shall succeed, beloved. And then there's the invocation, and we'll read the invocation a little bit later as we go. So drop some 1111s if this is already resonating with you, because I think this is a very powerful card for any of us to be able to receive in any moment, obviously particularly right now as we, again, kind of like get ready for new chapters, new stages, new ways of being, new inspiration, new determination, new commitment. And so I think this card is really cool because it invites us to reflect on what divine talents can be. And divine talents can be so many things. And I think like the most simplest way of kind of reflecting on what a divine talent is a divine talent is when you are like intentional and present with whatever it is that you may be doing in that moment. Because when you are present in that moment, you are present with spirit. And so in that sense, every act, everything that you can do is a reflection of divine. And so when more so than others, what comes as gifts are when you are doing something with the intention for it to be able to inspire you while also serving others. And I love the idea here. Again, I'm just going to reread this because I think this will kind of like help people kind of reflect and be like, oh, wow, like, okay, like I never really thought of those as talents before or as like divine gifts. But again, the idea that it says there are other spiritual talents too. These include writing, performing, sound healing, dancing to awaken awareness, creating art, photography, divinely inspired tools and jewelry, cooking food. So even just the idea of cooking food, right? Like that's something where it's just like, oh, okay, like I've never thought of that as a spiritual talent. I've never thought of that as a divine talent, but absolutely it is. And I think for those of us who are still trying to like figure out our identity, our character, our avatar within this game, I think it's important to really honor and celebrate what we may have overlooked as part of our spiritual talents. It's like, yo, like if you can have a conversation with someone and be present and listen and say the right things at the right time as you kind of like pay attention to their needs and let spirit kind of speak through you, that is a divine talent because it is serving the universe, it is serving consciousness, it is serving godness in that moment. And so again, I love the idea that like writing is such a powerful gift that each and every single one of us can practice doing, can practice facilitating, can practice sharing. And even the idea of combining that with photography. There's a very powerful term that I like to be able to reflect on. It's the idea of thinking of yourself as a visual philosopher. And so like this is something that is very relatable within today's Instagram style of media. And so basically you can have, again, like a beautiful image, but then you combine your writing and it conveys a message, and that message is meant to be able to like reflect on your own spiritual experience, your own observations, but also to be able to help people reflect too, and for them to be able to be inspired by what it is that you may be sharing in that moment. So I think, again, for Rana and for everybody else here, I think we need to give ourselves more credit than we often do. And we need to celebrate our gifts, and we need to be able to, again, understand that it is our duty to nurture our spiritual gifts, because our gifts are there to be shared. And so even just the idea of like, I love that, from that higher metaphysical perspective, that a lot of us have been developing these gifts beyond this one lifetime. Maybe even from the future, so to speak. So it's like there's things that kind of like get brought in with us. There's experience that has already been acquired that allows us to naturally step into these gifts. But even if it's something that you don't feel you're entirely familiar with it, don't let it stop you from getting started. Don't let it stop you from doing something outside of your comfort zone. And again, kind of going back to the divine breaking out of mass consciousness, don't let other people's opinions stop you from doing what makes your heart sing when it comes to sharing your gifts. For example, like I did stand-up comedy the other day. You guys, some of you already saw that. You saw the video that I posted. A lot of people were just like, yo, like, Brendan, this was really awesome. This was really brave. Like, I really love this. That's awesome. And at the same time, there were people who like went out of their way to comment on my YouTube to say this was not funny and please never do stand up again. Stop while you're ahead and find a new career, right? Like super harsh words, right? And then at the same time, like in that moment, you don't take it personally. You might be open to the feedback, but even still, you're just kind of like, okay, like, thanks for the comments. Like, that says more about you than it does about me, and everything's kind of subjective, so I'm not going to say that you're wrong in thinking that. But at the same time, I don't have to let that like be something that is going to dictate my choice to share my gifts. And so when we share our gifts, we really have to nurture them. We have to almost take care of our gifts as if they are our children, as if they are our friend. And so again, it's just like, think about like your gift as, say it's like your art, and think of it as your friend. Have you hung out with that friend lately? Like, are they feeling kind of isolated? Are they feeling kind of lonely? Like, maybe you can go spend some time with them. And that means like doing art or writing poetry. And as you do this, it's like the gift itself is almost its own consciousness, is almost its own organism. So it's like you kind of like sit down and you're like, okay, art, today we're going to create some art. And then it's like, what do you want to create, art? And then the art is like kind of like this like voice that speaks through you. Does that make sense? You kind of understand what I'm saying? I haven't really like fully thought about it that way. But again, it's kind of like we are ambassadors for these gifts. And the gifts aren't just ours alone. They're the gifts of consciousness. They're the gifts of godness that are serving through us. And then we have to be the conduits. We have to be able to help hold the space. And we can get good at that. That is like, again, where the importance of practice, the importance of creating time, the importance of going outside of our comfort zones. And then as we intentionally show up, these gifts grow, they're nurtured. Again, it's like watering a plant, so to speak. And that happens, right? If you haven't done something in a while, what happens? It takes a little bit to get back into. Like, oh, you haven't gone running for a while. That first couple times back, it takes a little bit to get into. You haven't played hockey in a while. First couple times, it takes a couple times to get back into. You haven't done art. You haven't sung in a while. It might take a little bit to get back into, but again, that's just kind of you, like, like breaking off the dirt, breaking off the clay. And as you do, you find this momentum naturally builds. You find this ease naturally arises. So again, it's like your gifts may be there and they may just kind of be like a little bit dusted right now, meaning they're a little bit stagnant, but that doesn't mean that they aren't rich with potential. And so it's up to you to choose what gifts you want to be able to focus on at any given moment. Again, from this altruistic place of service, knowing that in you doing that, it's allowing you to help others. It's inviting them to be able to connect with their own talents and with their own gifts as well. Drop some 1111s if this makes sense, if you're resonating with what I'm sharing in the chat. And again, shout out to all of you for all of your gifts that you have to be able to share. Again, I love the idea. Like, how many people here like cooking and stuff like that, but never thought of it as a quote unquote gift? Again, it's not just the food, it's also the opportunity to be able to invite people to join in sharing the food and to have that community. Your gift might be in your ability to create space, to bring people together, to facilitate conversation, to connect other like-minded people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, again, I think this is a really, really cool card that, again, just for you, Rana, and for John, for anybody else here who's tuned into this, I think this is a great way to just be able to perhaps acknowledge the divine talents that are just kind of like inside of us that just need a little bit more love, that we can practice bringing to the surface, and for us to be able to give ourselves that permission. And I'm giving you that permission right now. I would love to see what you have to create. I want to celebrate it. And that's what I think we need to do as a community, is to be able to celebrate each other's divine gifts. Because I think that's what happens sometimes, is that these divine gifts kind of get put off to the side because they don't get the love that they need to feel confident in constantly stepping out. Again, it's almost like this divine gift, like it has its own personality. And if that divine gift has not been given love, it's like a little shy. It's like, I don't want to come out right now, And so we have to be like, no, it's okay, little dude. Like, you can come on out. Like, let's play. Let's, and that gift might be your dance. That gift might be your playing music. That gift might be your singing. That gift might be you making videos. Every single time you show up and practice this, you're nurturing it, which allows it to just, next time you're just like, oh, what's that? I want to dance. Like, I know how to do it, right? Like, I know how to do it. I'm there. It's present. I can bring it forth and I can express it. And then again, other people see that. Other people who may be kind of going through their own process of having trouble kind of like breaking through the mud of expressing themselves. But as they see you doing it, it gives them permission to be able to be like, oh, I can play with this, right? Because usually like what happens is that sometimes they're afraid to do it because they're afraid of the criticism. They're afraid of the lack of love. They're like, I don't want to just do it and then no one cares about it, right? So this is why as a community, call to action, go out of your way to celebrate each other's gifts. What's that? Your friend put up like a heartfelt post on Instagram? Comment, compliment, acknowledge, let them know that like your gifts are so important and I want you to keep sharing them because that is what the world needs. And again, kind of going back to the other cards, like, like shine your weird in that sense. So nurture your own divine talents with love, nurture other people's divine talents with love, and together, like, we'll just become this like incredible, like psychedelic circus of talent, so to speak, because everyone is their own unique superhero with their own unique spiritual gifts and their own unique talents. And your talents do not need to be the talents of someone else's. Your talents are going to be unique to your spirit, to your soul, to your gifts that you're going to bring forth. We're constantly learning from each other. But again, follow that which makes your heart sing is one of the great pieces of advice that was given to me. So that might mean taking time to reflect. What is the most exciting thing that you want to do, that you want to create, that you want to be able to express, that you want to be able to share? And then take that next step. Take it with bravery. Do it. Share it with me. I'll celebrate it with you and we'll celebrate it together. And again, that goes further than you know. Especially in the face of like, criticism and uncertainty, like that goes way further than and again, I just want to remind everyone of how incredibly valued it is for you to be sharing your gifts in a way that works for you. And again, maybe going a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but that just allows you to grow. Drop some comments in the chat. Let me know how this resonates with you. I'm going to read Rana dropped a comment there, and then we're going to go into our invocation in the next couple moments. Rana says, I have wanted to start developing, and they wrote a list here. My writing, cooking healthy foods, photography, teaching workshops, following my bliss, following my happy, spread love and light. I am such a hugger and lover of people. Empathetic talents are underrated. My healing practice is called My Bliss. I was about to walk away from it all and joined the masses in career choices lately. I have 4 opportunities, but none match my talents as an empathic earth angel. This is so profound. Divine timing, beautiful awareness. Thank you. Namaste. Bless you. Awesome. Thank you, Rana, as well, for sharing that. And absolutely, I would love to just, again, like, be able to, like, see more of what you're creating, and again, to be able to celebrate that. And let's, again, like, connect within the project. And I'd love to be able to help support you. And again, we'll chat some more, and just kind of like see how we can help grow the foundations of what it is that you're creating, to be able to invite more people to see what your services are. And again, your value is your talents. Your value is your gifts. And I think everybody has that value. Everyone has those gifts. It's just a matter of us as a community being able to support, nurture, and help each other see the gifts that are already there. And they may just kind of, again, be kind of like a little bit shy. So we just kind of got to like bring them out. So perhaps you need to acknowledge your talents yourself, believe in yourself and your abilities and your capacity to use talents in a constructive, healing way. Keep developing your talents until your own unique expression comes to life. Don't give up in the early and possibly awkward stages, dismissing your abilities as less than those of another. Trust that there is something very real and worthwhile in you. Do not dismiss or diminish your potential. Treat yourself as an investment worthy of development. Right there, that key word, investment. I keep saying that. 2020 is the year of investment. Invest in yourself, invest time, invest in coaches, invest in community, invest in tools, invest in yourself. Treat yourself as an investment worthy of development. Give yourself a chance, enough time, attention, and practice to discover what you're really capable of. The universe knows. Soon you shall too. And I think that's the other thing. Give yourself time. Don't just try something once and be like, well, that didn't work. Give yourself time. Give yourself patience to be able to nurture the rate at which your seeds are blossoming, your seeds are growing. You don't run into the garden and start yelling at the vegetables because they're not growing fast enough. You're just patiently watering them and nurturing them and giving them what they need. Give yourself that same thing. Give yourself that same gift. For those of you on Instagram, this broadcast is about to conclude, but I'll restart it. Click the link in my bio to tune in on YouTube. And I just got to end this real quick. Thank you, Instagram, though. All right. I have to restart on Instagram in a second. But we're going to read the invocation here. So Rana, please feel free to, again, keep leaving your comments about how this resonates with you. And Rana, let me know if you have your Instagram. I'd love to be able to plug your Instagram so that more people can connect to it. And the invocation, I'm going to read this here. So for everybody here, just kind of listen as if like this is you speaking to yourself. Invocation. All loving universe, teach me to realize and trust in my divinely given talents. I ask for your unconditionally loving assistance in releasing any block or obstacles to the full development and joyful expression of my spiritual gifts in this world. Help me find the courage and boldness within that I need to believe in myself and be completely empowered to make my loving contribution to the world through my own free will and divine merciful grace. So be it. So again, just wrapping up on this card, again, going back to kind of the combinations of the other card, this is really about making the choice and to make that choice from a place of knowing that your gifts are there to be developed. You're not just like aimlessly wandering into the unknown. You're stepping into the excitement of the mystery as you get to witness things grow and expand and celebrate that process within inside you, and to be able to share in that celebration with others, and to again be able to share the weirdness of your divine talents to be able to help others activate the divine talents within themselves, and to give each other permission to to keep planting those seeds, making a difference, serving each other, and to be supported in doing so. So number 39, Divine Talents. Beautiful card. And again, that was my first time reading that card. So there we go. Thank you, Rana. Again, for everybody here, drop those 1111s in the comments if this resonated with you. And I'll read those comments on air in the next moment. Rana says, I currently am a life coach, massage therapist, energy worker, and yoga teacher. Awesome, Rana. Like that's like it sounds like you're already like, again, you got like things starting to move in some really really exciting directions, and I'm happy that you've connected, because again, I'd love to be able to chat more and see how we can help refine things, and I'll offer you a bit of my expertise to be able to help assist you as best as we can as a leading member by signing up onto the Patreon. So thank you, Rana, for sharing and for investing in yourself as well. It's a big thing. Like, the universe likes it when you invest in yourself. It's a big, like, yes when you do that, because the universe is like, okay, like, we're doing it, we're heading in that direction. A lot of people, they have trouble with that. They have trouble investing in themselves, and I think that's something that's changing more and more. We can see investments not as like a loss, but as something quite positive. And again, it's also like an energetic investment too. Awesome, awesome. Eric says, indeed, enlightening perspective. Most definitely resonates. Inspiring stuff as always. Thank you, Eric, so much. Diane, one of our Patreon supporters, psychedelic circus of talent. Yes, you like that too, right? Awesome. Sweet. All right, team. As it is right now, I just need to take a break. My voice is, again, I have to, my voice is my talent, my gift, right? So I have to make sure that I'm like taking a little bit of a break now and then. And we're currently waiting on the next Patreon sign up before we go into our next reading, and I do have time to be able to do one more reading before I have to take a break. So let's do one more reading for a new person who's going to sign up to the Patreon when they are ready. And again, I'll post a link for that in the chat. And thank you again, everyone, for joining in and for adding your support simply by being present. And thank you, like, again, me doing this is me sharing one of my gifts. Like, I hope you realize that. You can see the context of this, and I hope this inspires you to be able to be like, yo, I could do something similar. I could share, I could do some live broadcasts, I could do some tarot readings, I could do something like this. And absolutely, you could. So, all right, I'm just checking some stuff here. Making sure I'm not missing any notification. Okie dokie. All right, so thank you again, everyone. Like I said, if you're already in the process of thinking about signing up for the Patreon, just go ahead, let me know in the chat. Rana also said, God bless everyone on here today. These messages are for all of us. We are here to receive all the readings. You are here for a divine purpose. Thank you, Rana. And Rana, was this your first time coming across us? Like, this is our first time meeting? If it was, like, again, like, thank you for like allowing this value to be again, you know, like, proving that what we're doing here is working. So, because it absolutely is. And again, a lot of it has to do with the intention, and then also like the technical shamanism aspect of it, of being able to help be an ambassador. Oh, my voice just cracked. Hi, my name's Brendan, let's do some tarot. Oh god, that's what I'll end up sounding like if I don't take a break. Are you guys ready to get shifty? All right. Watch as I go through second puberty live on air. Okay. Again, team, we're waiting on a new Patreon sign up before we jump into one more reading before I take my break. And again, like, you're joining me at work right now. This is me at the office right now doing some work. And again, that work is being able to help invite people to connect onto the Patreon, to be able to build the team, to build the support on the Patreon, which allows me to keep doing more stuff into the future. And we got a lot of stuff that's like in the works. Check out the team Instagram page. It's super, super cool what we're creating on the team Instagram page, where we're like creating a single platform to be able to help feature various artists. Yo, witchy kind of woman, good to see you. Happy, what day are we on? Wednesday. welcome. If you want to join on YouTube, go ahead and click the link there. Again, if anybody on the Patreon who has already signed up, oh, witchy, we just did a really good reading all about divine talents. I think it would be one that you would like. So again, if anybody here who is already on the Patreon, even if you want to update your Patreon pledge, we can do one more reading for the team. But again, if there's people here who would like to be able to get a reading on air, they are available by people signing up onto the Patreon. And I'll post a link for that into the chat once more. I'm not entirely sure how many people are tuned in on Facebook right now. Again, it keeps glitching out, so I apologize. But I think we have at least like 20 or 30 people tuned in, I would say, give or take. And Rana, just confirming your message, saying that it's their first time here, brand new. So Rana, thank you again. So again, that's a great example. Like Rana synchronistically tuning into this, like feeling the value of what we're creating, listening to like what I have to offer, and then being able to be like, yo, this resonates with me, and I'm gonna say yes to this. And like thank you for saying yes to this, because like that yes is like huge. It like that means a lot. And again, the fact that like you're in a position where you can say yes to that just shows that there are other people out there that are also like looking to be able to say yes to this too. So thank you for everyone here. By simply being here, you're saying yes, and I honor you simply by being here. Your support in all forms is equally appreciated. That's cool. Rana said they saw the 11:11 time on their phone and jumped on Facebook, and then I appeared in the feed. That's super cool. That's perfect. So again, thank you to the 11:11 movement group for allowing us to share the broadcast into the group. Thank you for Jessica. I am one of the admins on the page, and Jessica has been a beautiful support of the work that I do. And again, by allowing us to share through the 11:11 movement group, it just allows us to be able to reach more people, such as Rana, and to build the team. Oh, thanks, Witchy. I see you like my glasses. Witchy, if you're welcome to update your Patreon pledge if you want, because like if you want to like get like more officially involved as a leading member, like you do have that option. Like I think right now you're signed up at like one of the first levels, and the level for the leading members is the 11 level. And then again, and that's also like where you can sign up to be able to get one of the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals as well. So whatever works for you is totally cool. Thank you, Javier, signing up ASAP. Thank you, Javier. Okay, who do we... Sweet, awesome. Eric just signed up. Eric, is that Eric J in the chats? Eric, thank you so much for signing up, dude. Super appreciated. And thank you again, everyone, just for your ongoing support. Eric signed up. He's next. Okay. Sorry, I'm just Eric and Kaylee, do you two know each other? Is that kind of what you were referring to earlier, Kaylee? Is this the person that you're friends with? I mean, I'm not, it's not, I'm just trying to put two and two together here. So, Witchy says that they're going to update their Patreon. Awesome. And again, Witchy, just, as a reminder, yeah, you go to your Patreon and then you go to your settings, and then like underneath that, there's the option to increase your pledge. And a reminder, like at the leading member level, which is the 11 level or higher, that gives access to you, that gives access for you to me as your conscious media creation coach, which includes like one-on-one brainstorming sessions. So like that's a chance where we can get to like chat more and get more clarity, and I can help you create your own Patreon. So again, like the one-on-one brainstorming sessions in themselves, if I was just like doing those as one-off, like those would be like $30 or $50 per session. And so like this is like a chance for us to be able to provide that value in a really affordable, accessible way. So that's like, again, I want to make it like a super easy yes. Okay, so did a different Eric just sign up? Is that just what happened? So Eric, who just signed up on Patreon, is not Eric J in the chat. Is that correct? And if so, Eric, who just signed up, please let me know where you are in the chat so that we can confirm and get ready to move into our next reading. All right, I'm gonna restart things on the Instagram in a second. That's so funny, Eric. Like literally another Eric just signed up. That's hilarious. Thank you both Erics for signing up. That's so weird. Apparently I'm just like in the future here. Okay, so who is the Eric that just signed up? Awesome. Rana, thank you again. And Rana, make sure that again, through when you sign up on Patreon, there's a message that you got and it connects you to the team page, but make sure you direct message me because I can walk you through things. Okay, Witchy is I think Witchy's updating their pledge, which is awesome. Thank you again, everyone. So that's 3 Patreon signups within this broadcast, which is great. Like that's super great. And again, I'll take a break at 4. Like I don't want to overdo it as much as I could just be like, oh, let's just keep doing it all day. But I'll take a break. I'm gonna get some fresh air, walk my dog, work out, get some food, and then I'll be back later tonight. And then, like I said, I think I want to be able to aim for like 10 Patreon signups today. That would be huge. So, all right, let me just update the on-screen. Rana, if you want, Rana, go ahead and jump over to the YouTube. if you want, because on the YouTube, that's like where the chat's kind of more active. The Facebook chat kind of does like, it kind of like peaks and then it kind of like drops. It just does that, but the YouTube chat is like pretty consistent. Rana, I'm gonna post the link for the YouTube chat into there, so please feel free to jump over there. All right. Okay, who is the Eric who just signed up? If you can confirm for me, then I'll be able to get right into this next reading for you. And let's see, what are we at right now? I guess we're at 152, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Dope. All right, that's awesome. Again, you know, like being able to have like the support onto the Patreon and like me grinding and you guys like supporting like means a lot, because like this is something that I've been working on for like years, and to be able to like be at that point where it's like, sweet, like this is like fully sustainable is huge. And so like we're still working our way there, which again is part of why we have the goal for 200. Once we get to 200, like that's like a pretty good point, and then from there we'll keep building, but that's our next milestone. And I got so much more that we're working on. All right, Dravok Light, Eric, thank you so much for connecting. Eric, just real quick, are you like, have you been following my stuff for a while, or are you pretty new? And either way, welcome and thank you. So let's okay, so let's get ready to get into the reading. And Eric, our newest Patreon supporter, let me just update the on-screen graphic there. Let me know if you would like the Ananda Tarot deck or the Lightworker Oracle deck. And again, this will be our last reading until I take a break. And again, that's just my throat will get, I have to rest it, right? My throat chakra, it's like, it's, you know, it's like, it's very, I have to take care of it, right? So that's awesome. Eric is new then. Eric, very cool, dude. All right, Eric, we'll make sure that we get connected. Again, make sure that you join the team chat. I'm just going to post a link for the team chat into the YouTube chat. Anybody is welcome to join that. Again, our leading members get access to the private elements of the team chat. And either way, just make sure that you're connected there, because that way we can just direct message each other through there. Eric wants the Lightworker deck. Awesome. All right. Let's get right into this. For those of you tuning in on Twitch, thank you as well. I do see people tuning in on Twitch. It's good that we have multiple channels. That way so people can synchronistically find us through various ways. All right. Yeah, Rana, you should be able, if you go to just youtube.com/skullbabylon, you should be able to tune in on YouTube there. Like if you have the YouTube app, go to Skull Babylon on YouTube, as written on the top of the screen. All right. So a reminder, if you're signed up to the Patreon, if you just signed up, make sure that like I'm in direct message with you. That way, so I can just kind of like walk you through stuff if need be. Okay, we're gonna do the Lightworker Oracle deck for Eric, our newest Patreon supporter. Give me 2 seconds here. I just want to be able to restart the broadcast real quick on both feeds on Instagram. Hang tight, everyone. Restarting the broadcast in just a couple moments here. So for everybody here, go ahead, just leave a quick comment. Where's everybody tuned in from? I love just being able to know like where everyone is, like, you know, all like where we all are all across the world. And again, reminder for everybody here that you are invited to our live guided full moon guided global meditation tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's Thursday. So that's a full moon. Like the full moon technically begins like Friday morning, but broadcast wise, it's easier for us to do it Thursday night. And I'm looking forward to that once again. And that's going to be like a really, really important broadcast. Obviously, just, you know, a lot of stuff happening in the world right now. And yeah, that'll give us a chance to be able to like focus some very, very cool intention. Yo, Corinda, welcome. Awesome. I love being able to just like, again, see familiar faces here. It's super, super cool. All right, so let's get right into this next reading for Eric, our newest Patreon supporter. And again, as we're doing this, if you're like tuned into this and you're just like, yo, like I'm ready to sign up for the Patreon, go ahead and do it. Even if I don't do a reading for you on air, I can do a reading for you one-on-one. Like that's an option as well. So again, I want it to be a super easy yes for you. All right, Eric, let me know that you're ready. Sweet. Yeah, we got quite a few people tuned in from Ontario here. All right, okay, I just got to restart. Okay. All right, we are now broadcasting live on Instagram once again. For those of you watching on Instagram in the future, go ahead and click my bio link to tune in to the YouTube broadcast if you're watching this within a fairly recent time period. But otherwise, go to youtube.com/SkullBabylon. And we're just getting ready to go into our next reading for our newest Patreon supporter. So again, if you would like a reading on air, sign up to the Patreon. Click the link in my bio to be able to join in on YouTube, and you can find the link for the Patreon there. All right, Eric is ready. Let's do this. All right, Rana, if you're still with us, thank you so much. Welcome, Malcolm, as well, Arizona. So yeah, we got people from Whitby. We got people from Scotland, Malcolm from Scotland, United States. Awesome. All right, let's do this. Again, this will be the last reading. Honestly, if we do get another Patreon sign up during this reading, I can do one more, like after this. Like I literally can do like one more. Otherwise, we'll take a break after this. So again, check the link for the Patreon. I'll just post a link for that real quick. And then from there, we're gonna get right into this next reading for Eric. So thanks again, everyone. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're having fun, taking part in the value that we're creating and the inspiration that we're cultivating. Let's do this, team. Go team shift. All right, Eric, inviting you to be able to drop into this heart space. Yes, Corinda's in the Netherlands. Go Netherlands. Close your eyes, everyone. Everybody here, if you're tuned into this broadcast, I'm inviting you to be a part of this moment, this practice, this ceremony. Connect with your breath here, Eric. Allow yourself to relax. Straighten up your spine. Open your chest a bit. Feel your breath. Reminding yourself of the breath being this light force, this life force moving through you. And so just have gratitude in this moment. Gratitude for the breath. Gratitude for the tribe. Gratitude for the opportunities still ahead. Eric, as you're in this space of gratitude, if you have your hand on your chest, that's an option. Inviting you to reflect and speak the intention of show me what I need to see, or show us what we need to see. Speak it with your heart, speak it with your mind, speak it with your words. Take a few more breaths here. Take your time. Just keep that intention. And when you're ready, Eric, type now into the chat, and let me just do a little bit of a charging of the deck, and we'll get right into this. Can you feel the magic within this breath? Can you feel the reality supporting you at your best? For this game is one in which you can only win simply by allowing yourself to turn within, to see the gifts, to see the light, to allow ourselves to shine through the night. As Eric types now into the chat, we split the deck and we shall see what message the universe has. Awesome. All right. Quick shout out. We did actually just get a new Patreon sign up, which is, I guess that's okay. Sorry, I just need to address this real quick, and then I'm gonna show this. Witchy Kind of Women. I think you might have signed up to the Patreon twice. I'll check in with you afterwards for that. You may just want to delete your old Patreon sign up if that's the case. But either way, I'll help walk you through that afterwards. And thank you. All right. The card that we have pulled. Okay, this is I'm just going to take this as novelty, and then we're going to do this one more time, because the card that we pulled is literally the card that we pulled 2 cards ago. So, Eric, were you tuned into this? If you were tuned into this like a moment ago, you would have already seen this reading, and I'm not trying to like not give you this reading, but I'd love to pull another card and for you to go back and watch the recording, and then for us to pull one more card, because this is literally the card that we pulled just like 2 cards ago. So Eric, let me know if I have your permission, and we're literally just gonna pull one more card. But I think the fact that we pulled this card twice, which again is unplugged from mass consciousness, is a great way to really just be able to like hit home the message of that. And again, really simply put, this card is again about encouraging us to be able to go outside the norm, to express our weird, to not be scared of like what other people think about us when we like start following our spiritual calling and our spiritual gifts. So this definitely resonates. Let's keep this card on the side, and then we're going to combine this into the next card. So Eric, I'm going to pull one more for you. That only happens like once in 1,000 pulls, so consider that like a bonus. That's like a little bonus point there, right there. So all right, Rana just asking, what time will I be on later tonight? Probably by about, I would say by like 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if not earlier. So probably in about 3 or 4 hours from now, Rana. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube to get it. All right, Eric, drop into that space. We're just going to do like a quick mini. Take a couple breaths, Eric, and when you are ready, type now into the chat and we'll pull a card for you. And so as time folds in back on itself, let us return ourselves to this deck to see what will fall off the shelf. As the synchronicity unfolds, the cards land where they may, so that we continue to see what the universe has to say. Waiting for that now to come into the chats. And we shall split the deck and see what message the universe has. All right. What do you think? Is it gonna be another card that we already got? No, that's okay. All right. The card that we have pulled for Eric, our newest Patreon supporter, is card number 25, Merkaba Spiritual Protection. I feel like this card might be something that's like a little bit like, oh, like fuck yeah, like this is like I'm cool with this one. So let's read into this one. I'm trying to think if this is, no, this one's new to me too. This one's new to me too. It just looks like another card that I've seen before. All right, so for those of you tuning in on Instagram, click the link in my bio to be able to tune in on YouTube, and you can sync up there. Again, as we're doing this reading, if people want to sign up for the Patreon as we're doing it, please feel free to do so. And we're gonna get right into this reading, and this will be the last reading for today, unless because I want to make sure, Witchy, I'll make sure I coordinate things with you. But if there is another Patreon sign up, I might need to take a break. We'll see. But don't let that stop you from signing up. All right. So looking at, oh, and Rana, that will be Eastern Standard Time. So check 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to Scotland time in Google. You'll find it that way. But yeah, in like 4 or 5 hours from now, give or take. Okay. All right. Okay, so looking at the image of the card here, I'll just explain it real quick. All right, so number 25, Merkaba Spiritual Protection. What is it that we have visually on this card? So we have this female, this woman, this person sitting at the bottom of the card, surrounded by this like purple sphere, and these beautiful image behind them of this like this river that's reflecting from like the light of this figure behind them, which I guess can be interpreted as kind of like their higher self, their godness. And you can see that that's kind of reflecting this like as if it's the sun on the river coming right down into their crown, right down into their form. And these beautiful colors coming off of it, they kind of look like wings. They're not necessarily wings, kind of like wavy energy patterns. And again, a lot of this like floral behind them, this very kind of like almost again paradise looking location, beautiful rich greens and orange and flora, and some very cool architecture you can kind of see on the side of like pillars and spires. And we got the 2 pillars here, pillars on the left, pillars on the right. You can think of those as kind of like parallels to like the pillars of knowledge. And again, and at the bottom you can see there's actually like a bunch of candles with like flames lit at the bottom there. So again, for those of you on Instagram, click the link in my bio to make sure that you can see the primary camera angle. Very beautiful color card there. And again, the person is like in a robe of white, and they have like a little like I think they got like a little like headpiece on too, and a little bit of jewelry, and like a light shining from the center of their chest. Beautiful image, beautiful image. Again, that's part of the reason why I like this deck, is just the imagery of it. Okay. So let's read into this card. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. Again, this card, pulling it on behalf of Eric, our newest Patreon supporter. But again, this is for anybody. If you are here, this message is for you. So this will be our last reading until I take a break, and we'll come back later tonight. And thank you again, everyone, for your support. 25. Merkaba spiritual protection. Being open to receive is a way to gain empowerment, strength in all manner of assistance. To enhance receptivity, it can be helpful to declutter and cleanse your energy field. This allows for that which is not rightfully yours to be shed. Sometimes this will include the disowned thoughts and feelings of others. When you release these thoughts and feelings, a spaciousness will grow within you. Then you can receive more of what is rightfully meant to be for you, your divine good in all ways. An open, sensitive person can easily become energetically overloaded, from physical pain to emotional and psychological tension. An overload does not feel good. You may even feel like you are carrying others on your back or in your head. The added weight can drag your naturally light vibration down into anguish, doubt, and fear or despair. Your inner vision too may be obscured by the overload. That can make it hard to discern what is yours and what belongs to another. Whether experiencing overload to your system is an unusual occurrence for you, or you have a tendency to absorb and process others' energies, common for healers, psychics, and mediums, artists, and other sensitive other people too, you will benefit from a spiritual cleansing. Afterwards, you may feel less inclined to connect with particular people or work on certain ideas, even if they seemed very important before the cleanse. This means that you are freeing yourself from others' input and discerning the true priorities of your own heart. To accept a spiritual cleansing now, repeat the invocation below, and then relax for as long as you need, with the oracle card resting face down over any part of your body that you intuitively feel can use spiritual cleansing. You can repeat this process daily for 3 days or up to 3 weeks if you feel that you need it. Your rest can be for several minutes or up to a half hour or more if you fall asleep during your cleansing. That can allow you for even deeper clearing. Again, you can kind of apply this even without needing to put the card on you. You could just create an intention of your own and put that anywhere. Pay particular attention to what you sense immediately after your cleansing. It is a time when you may become very aware of just who or what has been draining you, and be able to lovingly but firmly say, "You must leave my energy field now and not return without my express verbal permission. Of my own free will, so be it." This oracle is also confirmation for those who have been questioning if a relationship, person, or situation has been draining or transferring negative energies or thoughts into your energy field. Your insights are correct, and you can now use this energy clearing process to remove the cords of attachment and release any negative energies from that person or situation. Very cool. Okay, and then there's the invocation, and we'll read that after we kind of talk about this for the next couple minutes here. Awesome. Thanks. Eric's just saying getting some like ginger root and lemon and peppermint and honey. I got green tea. Green tea is what I usually drink. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. So again, looking at this card here, I think this is a very, very important card for us to be able to reflect on without even having to get like too into the kind of like, I'm just woo woo. I'm not trying to call it that. I'm not trying to like make it sound like it's not like what it actually is. But instead of thinking like, oh, like, you know, like I need to cleanse my auric field, I need to be able to like release cords of attachment, things like that. If that language makes sense to you, that's okay. But I think with this card, it's also important for us to be able to pay attention to our own heart chakra. And what I mean by this is by being able to like make sure that our heart chakra is balanced to the point where it is not overly open or overly closed, but to be able to have that boundary that prevents having to like get to that process of like feeling like we need to do a spiritual cleanse. Like, I think the spiritual cleanse is a good thing to be able to do. And maybe it's just a good routine to be able to have. Like, it's good to just like wash your car every now and then. But I think the preemptive thing is to be able to make sure that we're honoring like the boundaries that we've created for ourselves through the openness of our heart, but without it being too open. You know, the balanced heart chakra is when you can say no to certain things. You know, like someone might be like, yo, let's go out, or I'm coming over, or let's come in, or like let me tell you about all the things that happened to me today that you know, like that pissed me off and stuff like that. Like, you have the permission to just be like, hey, like, I appreciate you wanting to share, but like, that's okay. Like, I'm just going to take some time for myself right now, and inviting people to make sure that they respect those boundaries. And again, with this card, it's really reflecting on like, regardless of whether or not we're doing a cleansing process, to really make sure that we're owning who we give permission to be able to like step into our energy field with. And with 2020 here, one of the best like mantras I can give for people, if this is something that's relative to you and something I said before, is the idea of block and bless. Meaning basically that if there's someone who is like not really like there to support your dream, if they're just criticizing you in an unconstructive manner, if they're just kind of spewing hate, again, kind of going back to the other cards, understand that that's like, again, a little bit of a projection. Maybe there's like some validity in their subjective perception of it, but you have the right to be able to be like, okay, like, thank you for making it clear that this is where I set my boundary, because I don't need you like imprinting your kind of like negative attitude into my reality. And I've had to do this too. Like, there's been certain people who I've like met through community events and things like that. God bless them and stuff like that. Like, they're great people, but they just like kind of often would come to me with like drama that didn't really involve me in the first place. And I'm like, you know, I'm just like, hey, like, you know, like, I just want to be able to like communicate that, you know, please don't message me unless I message you, you know, like basically just saying this. And like, and it's not to say like, hey, like, I don't like you, but it's actually saying I love myself. I love myself to the point where I know that like, if a person's behavior is predictable and they're just kind of like, you know, exuding certain patterns, and I know that those patterns aren't really kind of aligning with my goals and with my focus, that it's up to me. It is fully your responsibility what energies you let into your field. Like, drop some 1111s if you can just kind of like say that, like, yes, that I agree to that. Because again, I'm going to say that again. It is fully your responsibility about what energies you let into your field. Right? So again, like, if there's like, again, like certain people that are just kind of like feeding off you and kind of like, you know, have like a vampiric nature and everything like that, yeah, you can blame them. But at the same time, it's your responsibility, because if you're feeling like, yo, this doesn't feel right, there's also a positive to that, because again, it's teaching you how to be able to use discernment and set healthy boundaries. So again, even though this card is kind of like talking about, you know, like the idea of Merkaba spiritual protection, being able to kind of like develop this like force field, so to speak, that can kind of like clear out energy and prevent negative energy from coming in. This is another this is a bit of a paradigm shift I'm going to share with you, because I think this is actually probably like not something that a lot of people think of. When we kind of think about this, and again, this visual, it's like this woman has like this force field around her. Instead of just like getting into this mindset of thinking, like, okay, like, in order for me to like make it through the psychological gymnastics, the psychological jungle of society, that I need to be able to create a force field. And that way, if people are like sending things at me, it's bouncing off. That's one idea. You can have that. If it works for you, go with it. Here's another idea that I want to be able to give you that is actually like what I feel to be far more effective. And basically, think of the bubble around you less of a force field that's bouncing things off and more as a transmuter, meaning so that if someone kind of projects some sort of like negative hate at you or some sort of internal frustration, that again, it's all just energy. It's neither negative nor positive. And so if they're kind of like projecting energy at you, visualize this narrative of it kind of passing through this field, this force field, this bubble. But as it passes forward through this field, it neutralizes and it simply arrives to you as energy. And then you can choose what you do with that energy. So I think that mindset of, again, like that is what I feel would be like a good way of kind of visualizing what Merkaba spiritual protection could be. And again, Merkaba, for simply put, would be kind of like referring to like the energetic field around us. Simply put, just hitting the surface on that. But again, I think that idea, let me know if that resonates with you. Drop more 1111s if this resonates with you. Again, that idea of thinking it, imagining that bubble around you less as a force field that's trying to bounce off negative energies, but rather to neutralize any energy, and then so that it comes at you simply as pure energy. And then you can kind of transform it and again, turn it into a positive thing. So again, I've experienced this too. I've experienced this like being a person who's online and stuff like that. I've had people who have pushed my boundaries. I've had people who have like, you know, like done things that weren't very cool. And I've had people who have said hurtful things to me. And again, like even when they did that, it was like, okay, first of all, I'm going to make sure that I transmute that so that, again, it's more the story. It's not even like, oh, I have to sit there and meditate and visualize it. It's more the story that you're telling yourself. So instead of being like, oh, that person's saying hurtful things and now I'm hurt because of it. Instead, it's just like they're saying things. It's just energy. It's neutral. And then it comes at you. And then again, you use that neutral energy to be like, I feel empowered to set my boundaries and to say no. Like, no, like I'm not like holding space for this conversation. This is past boundary. This is not within the guidelines that I set for what I want in terms of relationship. And therefore, block and bless, you know, kind of like separate the communication. You are not obligated to like get into arguments with people online. Like that's not a thing that you're required to do just because someone's trying to like get into an argument with you. Like you don't have to do that. It's kind of a weird way that we live in today's society where just because anybody can message anyone, they think that we're entitled to have a conversation with them. But no, like we're really not. Like if it doesn't feel like it's a conversation that you want to have, that doesn't mean that you saying no to that is you being rude. It just means that you are setting standards and holding boundary. And when you do that, it sets the vibration that will allow the people who respect those boundaries to naturally gravitate towards you. So if you're constantly letting people in who are kind of like vampiric and kind of negative and kind of like creating drama, and you're keeping it there, subconsciously, that's you saying yes to the universe and saying, yes, I'm okay with this. Keep sending me more of this. Keep letting more people come to me with their drama because I haven't said no to it. Therefore, I must want more of it. But again, it will show up to you, not because it's trying to be a bully, not because it's trying to pick on you, but because it's actually teaching you how to be able to become more solid in your boundaries, in your standards, in your worth, and to say yes to yourself, to say like, this is not me trying to be mean to you. This is me saying yes to myself and knowing what I need to be able to focus on things. Like, have you ever had that? Like I experienced this not too long ago where again, like I've got a lot of things that I'm working on every day. And if someone kind of like starts sending me messages that just don't really kind of like fit with like what I'm capable of responding to, if it's just kind of like going off on stuff and I'm just like, sorry, dude, like I can't have this conversation with you. Like I just can't. Like it's not because I don't like you, but like you've kind of made that decision for me because my focus is so like specific and I'm so dialed in on my intention that it's just something that I have to do. And because if I said yes to everyone, it would be like taking away like the value of what I'm bringing to other things in my life. And again, it's not to say that you always, it's kind of a one-to-one thing. You really want to be able to use, again, discernment. You're not trying to be an asshole. You're not trying to be cold, but you're making sure that you're not saying yes to people who are going to take advantage of your time and take advantage of your generosity and things like that. And so get really good at strengthening your field, strengthening your story. What are you willing to say yes to, and what are you willing to say no to? Because again, you saying no is actually you saying yes to other things. You saying no to like certain relationships is you saying yes to like owning harmony and owning focus and owning what it is that's important to you. So again, knowing, kind of going back to the other cards, that as we start sharing our spiritual gifts and start like getting into more of the things, it's like Agent Smith will try to distract us. We'll show up through like other people. We'll try to push us off our path. So whenever you feel like there's like something that's like testing you, see it as that. See it as a test. And try not to take it personally, but allow yourself to be aware enough to be conscious in how you choose to respond to it. Right? Does that make sense? So again, it's like, just because negativity like shows up, it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It just allows you to be able to see how you meet it in that moment. And again, that may be setting a boundary. It may be dealing with a situation. Maybe it is something you have to have a conversation with. But again, do it in a way that feels right for you. And you'll know, because again, if you're kind of like sitting with the feelings, it's the feelings that will be like, oh, this doesn't really feel like quite like it's what I want to do or something like that. And then use that discernment to kind of be able to decide what reality it is that you want to be able to create for yourself, and who or who not that may involve. And again, so like that's it's again, I'm not telling you to be an asshole, but I'm telling you to be like really stern with your boundaries, because until you set your boundaries and until you make it clear what's acceptable, people will just assume otherwise. And that's when people take advantage of people. And that's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them. So again, like, be fair to yourself. See it as a loving thing to yourself. And so again, I'll just kind of like hitting again across the things here. Pay particular, and I'm going to read the comments in a second. So for any comments you write that resonate with this, I'll read those on air. Pay particular attention to what you sense immediately after your cleansing. It is time that you may become very aware of just who or what has been draining you, and to be able to lovingly but firmly say, you must leave my energy field now and not return without my express verbal permission of my own free will, so be it. So again, consent, like energetic consent, is an actual real thing. So again, with this card, be this a great card for Eric, for anybody here, to take a moment and just kind of reflect and just kind of like feel in, just be like, okay, like, are there any people in my life right now that I feel are kind of like not like, draining my energy, or not honoring my energy, or not honoring my value, and are kind of like taking advantage of things? And again, it may be a subconscious thing from them. They may not even be fully aware of it. So it's not like you noticing that is you like being like, oh, like, screw them. It's more just kind of like being aware of the situation in a very like neutral way. But from that observation, it allows you to make those very important next decisions, to be able to say, like, what do I need? What do I need and what do I not need in my story, in my field, in order to be able to get to where I'm going? Because your focus is so important. And there will be people who will try to like push you off your path and push you off your dharma and push you off your goals. You will be tested. And so when the tests show up, just see that as an opportunity for you to be empowered, to be like, sweet, here's a chance for me to be able to set my boundaries, to be assertive, to lead by example. So this oracle is also confirmation for those of you who have been questioning if a relationship, person, or situation has been draining or transferring negative energies or thoughts into your energy field. Your insights are correct. You can now use the energy clearing process to remove cords of attachment and release any negative energy from that person or the situation. So again, I think this is just like a really powerful card that just teaches us about the importance of energy discernment, making sure that we have a balanced heart, not too closed, not too open, making sure that we're saying yes and no to things that are going to serve us, and ultimately, again, just kind of like anchoring it back into love. Because you saying no to that person in that time may actually help kind of reroute their course. And then later on, you might, if it's meant to cross paths again, you might cross paths again. And when they cross paths again, maybe they'll be in a better place, and you'll be like, sweet, now we can actually have a conversation. And now we can kind of like meet each other in this space and everything like that. So, and at the same time, again, understand when there may be times where people may be going through a quote unquote negative situation and they may need your help. And at that point, it's literally your free will. You have the free will to be able to step into a quote unquote negative situation as like a steward of light, which may help harmonize it. again, this card and my advice, quote unquote, in general, is not telling you to like avoid challenges and avoid situations. If there are times where there's something that could benefit from your presence, feel into that, but let yourself walk into it from a place of like like centeredness, you know? Because again, if there is a situation that could really use your presence, like you'll know. But again, if there's like drama that doesn't require you to be there, you'll also know, and make sure that you don't stick around longer than you need to. That's the moral of the story today. To be enough to just like get the message and get out, right? So, and then again, you doing that isn't you like avoiding, it's you focusing. It's your focus is a freaking laser. Keep it like a laser, keep it focused. And again, that's just going to help you serve even more in the long run. So drop some 1111s if this resonates with you. I'm going to read some of those comments real quick. Eric saying, you become part of whatever energy you're around and it affects you subconsciously. Absolutely. Again, you become your environment. You literally become your environment. You are your room. You are your social circle. You become that. So if there are people and you're just like, yo, like, I don't want to be that, then make sure it's like there's a safe and healthy distance between you and them, right? Think about that. So hang out with the people that you would like want to be, I guess, in a sense, because you will become them. So be very, very aware of who you surround yourself with. And again, I wish that's like things that they told us way back in the day, right? Before like that kid from high school was a bad influence on us or something like that. So peace out to haters, says Kaylee. That's actually been happening to me. Miracal says, reprogram the conscious reality of existence. You are the creator of the experience. Well said. Eric says, let the haters become your motivators. I like that, Eric. That's very good. Kaylee says, they hate when you have that they are unable to create for themselves. Again, what we were talking about with the previous cards. Kaylee, 100%. Right on, precisely, says Eric. Diane says, like the idea of neutralizing instead of protection. We are all sharing energy, but we decide how we receive it. Always love your positive vibe and spin on this. Rest up, my friend. Thank you, Diane. Again, one of our Patreon supporters there. Hella understanding this one. Nice, Eric. Thank you for that. Assertive, absolutely. Other Eric. Again, assertiveness is such a powerful trait. It's like that's like the trait of like someone who's like, again, kind of like that warrior, that guardian, and you're guardian of your own serenity, right? So if there's like something that's like trying to throw you off your serenity, your assertiveness will be like no, like just no. Or maybe I have to look at it, maybe I have to pay attention to it, but again, you can be assertive because you saying no is you saying yes to like keeping your focus. Hello, Lucy. Welcome. Some people don't want to change. They want to be thrown themselves into the sorrow and drag you down with them. Yeah, again, Kaylee, and that's just kind of the way of the world. And again, I think those people are kind of like going through their own healing over time, and their healing is again a part of us just like living our truth, living our inspiration, because again, that gives them permission to do the same, because they're probably living in an old paradigm where they think that they're not allowed to and stuff like that. All right, so any other comments? Drop those 1111s. I can see the 1111s in the chat. Malcolm, just going over the comments in the Facebook chat. Malcolm says, Rana says, my responsibility to avoid energy vampires, shield, cleanse, practice self-care practices. Malcolm says, learning to protect from narcissist vampire, have to transmute and visually clearing that energy. 2020, say no to energy vampires, negative people. 2020, say yes to myself, practicing discernment. Absolutely, Rana, well said. Malcolm says, that's been a problem for a long time, struggling to set boundaries for self-preservation, even though I know that's what has to be done. Try to visualize a purple flame, an auric egg. Brilliant card. Awesome, Malcolm. Thank you for your feedback. And again, I think everyone here who's kind of listening to this, you guys are getting it. Witchy says, so true, especially in romantic relationships. I think there was a comment here earlier. Heather says, don't be an asshole, but know how to properly use yours, letting go of what needs for proper health. Exactly, Heather. Well said. I just let go of someone who wasn't respectful, and it's been a blessing in disguise. Well done, Witchy. Good for you. Witchy, again, one of our Patreon supporters, says, I was asking about someone who I've recently been sharing time with and wondering if their energies have been hindering me. confirmation that this has been clouding my energy. Again, so super super powerful card for those of you just joining in. Shout out, we got a few Patreon supporters in here. Shout out to all the Patreon supporters. I love you so much. Thank you so much. And again, this is a card about the Merkaba spiritual protection. So again, this is a card that's really just inviting us to be like fucking like in our power to be able to say again like no to things that don't serve us. And again, I don't even like using the term like energy vampires, because that like I don't know, like I think it kind of creates like this narrative that like, oh, they're the bad guys, they're demons and stuff like that. I would just say like energy vampiric behavior that any of us can accidentally exude, right? Like I'm sure there are times when if we're going through suffering, you know, like have you ever been in that place where you're kind of going through a place of uncertainty and you're just like, I just need, like it's almost like you like reaching out for help. It's like a cry for help. You're like, I need help. Like I need attention. Someone take care of me. Someone help me. And sometimes that can kind of come off in a way of like extreme neediness. But again, like maybe if someone is exuding something similar to an energetic vampiric behavior, see past it, see through it with an empathetic lens, and to be able to try and like meet them with empathy if you choose. And again, that empathy may be like, okay, here's a little bit of my advice for you, and here's my boundary, and if you can respect my boundary, I can assist you, but here's the container, right? So instead of just saying no to energetic vampires, I would invite you to pay attention to them, because there may be a valuable lesson in there that is inviting you to be able to assist in a way that may serve them and may genuinely help them. Again, I don't like this idea of just being like, you know, like say no to anyone who is like going through a hard time, right? Like that can be that's very mean in some ways. But again, it really comes down to discernment. It depends on the person. It depends on their behavior. It depends on the past. It depends on patterns you've observed. It depends on what you want to be able to cultivate out of the relationship. So again, if the relationship is really important to you, it's your choice to invest what you choose to invest in it. But at the same time, be realistic with yourself. Is the investment serving you? And sometimes that will happen. Sometimes we'll invest ourselves in a relationship and we'll invest and things just aren't changing. And then eventually that is when we get clarity and we're just like, I think it's time for me to move on. Like I've done as much as I could. I'm proud of my effort to show up, but I know that me sticking around longer is actually like not doing, it's actually doing like more harm than good type thing. Because again, you want people to be able to have that that own like kind of ability to take care of themselves. And I think that's the thing, right? If you find people kind of coming at you with negative kind of energies and stuff like that, just gently in a kind of like stern but loving way, help lead them back to being able to take care of themselves. So that might mean be like, oh, sorry, dude, like, you know, like I'm not up for having a 1 hour phone call talking right now, but I would really encourage you to maybe just like go out for a walk in nature and just kind of give them like a couple like pieces of direction. And just be like, yeah, you know, like go exercise right now, like go like physically go move your body, like that will help. And you can just kind of say like, I've been where you've been before, and here's what I've learned, and here's my advice, right? So again, I think we have a tendency to just be like, no, energy vampires, like, oh, stay away and stuff like that. But again, I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, what would Jesus do? Kind of using Jesus as like a generic example. What would a kind, compassionate person do? And again, so I think it's kind of like finding that middle ground of being able to serve while being able to serve yourself by making sure that you set your boundary. And and knowing that your compassion in a time when someone may be suffering can plant a seed that may go a long way. You know, because that person, they may be projecting and they may be an asshole, but maybe on the inside, they just need a little bit of compassion. And so if you can give them compassion in a way that feels balanced and is not jeopardizing your own security, then again, you know, like I think like that would be ideal. And that is like, again, where we can like continue to help serve each other as much as possible in the long run, while honoring the sanctity of our own space and our own energy. So drop some more 1111s if that resonates with you. Thank you again to all of you tuning in. Any channel, for those of you tuning in on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Yo, thanks so much. And again, we're gonna just kind of like, there's the invocation here. Eric, let me know how that resonates with you. And again, I think this is a great card for all of us, for you, Eric, just to be able to like be like, okay, like, yes, like this is something that I'm already doing. and to just be reminded that like this is something that I can do more of, and maybe it's something that I can remind other people. By you setting your boundaries and setting your healthy example, like that gives other people permission to be like, oh, I can say I can do that too. I can do that. Sweet, that's awesome. So all right. Eric says, be a nice asshole. Wait a minute. LOL. Just like being extremely blunt, but nice about it in a sense. Yeah, be like a Sagittarius. Be like a Sagittarius that will just be like super fiery and blunt when need be, but then also be like a Cancer that will be like empathetic and compassionate when need be. So you have all the archetypes within you. Wield them as need be. Use the different like abilities that you have at different times. Read the situation. Don't just run away from it. Eric says, inspire the energy vampires to motivate themselves so that they can feed on their own energy instead of yours. Well said, Eric. Well said, Eric. Absolutely. Again, yeah, I agree. Like those energy vampires, they're not like literally some other different being. They're just humans that are going through a little bit of learning. And when we can honor that, we can actually support it. And that can be a big part of our growth. To be like, wow, remember that time when I like helped that person like learn how to heal themselves? Because I shared in a little bit of empathy instead of just like running away from it. Like that was really powerful. And that taught me, it was powerful for me to be able to see myself show up that way. Compassion is key. Discernment is so important. Listen to your intuition. You want to assist them to assist themselves. Well said, Witchy. Balance the archons, right? Great explanation, Brendan. You really demystified the concept of energy vampirism skillfully. Thanks, dude. Yeah, again, I know I've seen a lot of stuff in the spiritual community where it's just like, be like, if you've got bad vibes, then like stay the fuck out of my life type thing. And I'm like, yes, I can understand that, but I think where is the work actually needed? The work is to be able to observe where there is suffering and to be able to send compassion to that in a way that is not exhausting ourselves. So that's why it's so important to be able to take care of ourselves so that we can go into those uncomfortable situations, so that we can have the courage to do so. All right, I'm glad this resonated with you. This is a very powerful card. I might have to like share this broadcast with further for the team, because I think that's important. All right, reading the invocation here for everybody here. Listen to this as if you're reading this to yourself. Invocation. I call upon unconditionally loving divine protection. The sacred chamber of light, the Merkaba of divine light, is around me now. I choose of my own free will, under divine authority and grace, to release any and all connections, content, and contaminants that do not serve me, through unconditional love. I choose of my own free will to take my life journey in the most joyful and loving way possible. I open to divine grace for cleansing and protection of my integrity at all times. I am free to simply be in the truth of me. May all beings be blessed and protected. May all beings be happy and free through my own free will. So be it. So there you go. Number 2025, Merkaba spiritual protection. Again, just kind of practical. And I invite everybody here, just kind of like, again, let the visual kind of enhance the story. You know, so it's like, okay, like, what does that purple Merkaba field around me reflect? It represents like the sacredness of my own value, and to reflect like my importance of creating discernment and knowing that it's my responsibility about who I let in, but also allowing me to have that courage to be able to help where needed and to assist where needed. So be that kind, compassionate asshole. That's, again, you want the balance of the shadow and the light, right? Too much light and you're just like, oh, sorry, dude, like I can't help you. Too much shadow and it's like, oh man, like I need to like be a vampire. But to be the shadow and the light is to be able to have compassion for the vampires, and to be able to like see themselves in you and you in them, and to be able to like meet it with compassion and help transmute it that way. So yeah, so there you go. Eric, if you have any other comments on how that resonates with you, please feel free to leave your comments down in the chat. And thank you again for adding your support onto the Patreon, and to everyone who has been here tuned in for this broadcast for the last 3 hours that we've been doing this. And for those of you on Instagram as well, Witchy, this is the Lightworker Oracle deck that we have chosen there. So awesome. All right. We got 4 people tuned in on Instagram. Thank you to those tuned in on Instagram and YouTube. If you haven't already yet, please feel free to like this video on Instagram, or sorry, on YouTube. That way, so like it just kind of like boosts the algorithms and stuff like that. I can see there's like 11 likes right now, which is totally cool. And yeah, with that said, we're gonna wrap up this broadcast because I need to take a break. I need to take care of some stuff, do some routines. Again, if you enjoyed this broadcast, please feel free to like share my channel with your friends. Check out my Patreon when you can, so you can sign up for that. Again, new people who have signed up, make sure that you follow the instructions in the email sent out to you through Patreon. Connect to the team chat. Message me on Instagram if you're on Instagram, and we'll make sure that we get connected, and we'll get you integrated into the community as we go. Awesome. So thank you again to our newest Patreon supporters for this broadcast. Thank you to Dan. Thank you to Rana. Thank you to Eric. And thank you to Shauna Lee, who is already signed up for a Patreon and just updated their Patreon pledge. Shauna, if you want to do a one-on-one reading sometime, that can be something that we can plan as well. And we'll take a break for now, and then we'll be back with some more readings later tonight with our objective of reaching 10 Patreon signups within today. So let your friends know that we'll be going live a little bit later today, and we'll be here for some more inspiration to be able to see what messages the universe has. So please feel free to leave your comments of gratitude down in the chat below. And as always, it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to share this space together as a team. So again, if it's your first time here and you're looking to be able to connect with a community of conscious creators and leaders, be sure to check out the Patreon. Sign up for that as a leading member. Get a Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal when you sign up at the $11 level or higher a month. Contributions only process on the 1st of each month, so even if you sign up now, the charges won't go through until February 1st. And if you have any questions, let me know. And again, access to that, signing up on that also gives you access to me as a conscious media creation coach, which is like valued at over $250 a month, which is awesome. And again, access to be able to be involved as a leading member, which means you can join our on-air Synergy Circle broadcast to be able to help you reach a wider audience to share your story. So I'm looking forward to being able to connect with some of the new Patreon supporters. And again, if anybody has any questions, just let me know. Jump over to the team chat, and I'll see you there in between now and the next broadcast, and I'll let you know when we are going live, which I think, again, it just depends on what I need to do first. But I would say probably no later than 8 p.m. I would say, and then we'll probably be on air for another several hours. So thank you, Witchy, saying thank you, Brendan, much love. Eric, much love and appreciation. God bless. Have a phenomenal day, my brother, says other Eric. Thank you, Brendan, says Kaylee, thank you again. We got lots of awesome people in here, so thank you, Patreon supporters. All right, you guys go out there, practice being a compassionate asshole. Right? No, like a stern, compassionate person who's like wearing their armor with intention, right? Awesome. Cut through the bullshit and shine the light. So, all right. Thank you, fellow gray Jedis, light workers, light guardians, and as always, thank you. I see you, I honor you, and let's go out there and kick some butt. Sign up for the Patreon when you can, and let me know if you have any questions. We'll be back later tonight, and as always, keep it shifty, and I will see you in the future. This is Wolf, Brendan, Skull Babylon. Until next time.